All right, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Monday. I hope you guys are ready for it. The news over the weekend, you could call it debatable because everybody was going back and forth. Trump even went back and he even said, no, it's going to be temporary, Lutnick and all of that. But generally, the vibe that there was a reprieve from chips, that is holding through. You have Apple up 7, and we are going to be hearing from Donald Trump later today regarding this topic. So other than that, we got a little bit of data. I would keep an eye out there for anything related to the Fed, energy, and everything else. But we have a big week. Last week, we went up 7 on the NASDAQ, and the question is, did we put peak volatility behind us, and is there going to be permanent damage or not, my friends? So we'll see how that all plays out. Friends. Oh, hi. So that's me, but we got about a minute before the bell, so good morning, and I hope you guys are ready. But if you have any plays, now is the time to post them. I'm going to be watching HII, OMEX, GLD, TLT, Dell, NVO, Apple, and NVIDIA. And, bro, we got a fire Apple play already. So the one that we ghetto spreaded, it has a high max gain, but I'm telling you, Apple is going to be on fire. I don't know how long it'll last, but Apple and NVIDIA, those are going to be the big ones at open. It's just, again, you're already up 1.8, and the bonds are up too, so we'll see how long this lasts. Watch for the opposite on TLT as well, and then we will see what happens. But 44 seconds, I don't think I have enough time to go to the party. Do you think I will have enough time to go to the party? I don't think I will. I don't think I will, but that's okay. That is okay, my brethren. We will be ready to go. So, again, I'm going to be watching defense like we talked about on the watch list yesterday. Other than that, though, keep your eyes out on the chips, and then let's see what happens with the premiums. Just don't forget what we saw on Friday. You know, a little bit of that stop and go. If we start to slow down, that's going to make the premiums very hard to hit. So keep that in mind when it's all said and done, my friends. But get ready for 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Fight. All right. Let's see where those apples are at. Oh, the apples are up only 200? Yo, hold on. No. Partial? Yeah, I grabbed some apples right off the open. Bro, they just gave me a contract for the same price as Friday. So, yeah, I took one. I already got one. So, literally, I had my other apples. I thought those would be up more on the 7%, but, like, literally, a lot of the Apple premiums are still down. That might change, so watch out for that, though. All right. Well, I already got one of those. So, again, yeah, they already went up there. Again, the other apples, too, those are working great. Yeah, those are up 250%. You got a nice max gain, so be mindful of that. Oh, those Intels are up 100, too. I'm going to make those free as usual. You could hold on to them if you want more. They have a, damn, that's a fat ask. The spread between those. So those Intels are up 120. Make those free. All right. And then, yeah, I haven't looked at NVIDIA yet. TSN for the long term, I haven't really added any food plays, but, yeah, I could consider them. I'm not really against it, and I think they've came down a lot. I would be more, like, vigilant towards it. Wait, what the hell? Wait, no, my Intels didn't sell yet. There they are. I'm so confused. Yeah, I actually put in a limit on my Intel. It didn't sell. Okay. There you go. All right, some of the short-term apples, again, apples are around 200 to 300%. I'm surprised, though. Apple, 6-7%. They did not go too crazy. Yeah, watch Netflix, Tesla, like we said on the watch list. If the weather permits, just keep in mind you do have the earnings. So we will see we might have hit a bottom on bonds. Like I said, today is going to kind of be what we're going to be looking for, whether or not we see that pressure and whether or not it still exists. So, again, even with over the weekend news, bonds were down earlier, so I don't know if I would trust it just yet. Yeah, TMC, Omex, and all of the ones related to like deep sea mining, those pretty much went up. We have an old Omex play, I remember. And where's Tessie? Tesla's up 3.5. Yeah, NVO went up on the news that Pfizer's oral weight loss thing didn't do good. Bitcoin flushing. Nvidia's up only 1. Again, Apple's the one that's up like literally 7-8% right now. Now 5. So literally cash open, things have sold. Equities, S&P was doing very, very good, but those all just sold off right there. Yeah, those Intels are killing it. All right, watch. Some of those Apples, those didn't really move up. It's still up. They just glitched out the morning, but Apple's already given up 2. Spies even coming down a little bit. I have not given you guys any levels, so let's see where we're at. Oh, wow, you're right here. 5447 or 5457, 52. So whatever this is, otherwise gap fill is about almost 100 points lower. Kind of crazy. Pin to a duo on the high. Watch China names. I haven't really looked yet. So yeah, you're like right at the level. Again, Baba's up by 4.8. So a couple of them are moving. I have not looked at SPY contracts just yet. I've been looking at individuals. Again, we have a lot of good ones. I haven't looked at staples yet either. Anna, my God. Welcome, my friend. Yeah, staples are going up. There's a couple of them. And then banks are going up. I forgot about Goldman, too. Goldman had good earnings. They're still up, too. So let's take a look at the S&P. Calls and puts are both down. So it's not too bad. They're at the lower range, but honestly, that's the good part about today. You don't really have like a catalyst, but like literally calls and puts are both down. I don't think you could tell a direction yet because the risk is that you still get trapped. But for now, it looks decent on the it looks decent if you wanted to like go both ways. So, because again, you have calls and puts, the premiums are not there. But if you straddle it and we don't move, then you're going to get clapped or strangle it. But other than that, it's a little bit better. The problem is you don't really have an event today. Again, you're just up on that news. The event is Trump in the chips, but I mean, he's more likely than not going to walk back everything, or it's going to sound like that, but we'll find out. You went and you bought a Tesla this weekend? Oh, you're like, I'm feeling like an American today. You're like, fuck yeah. And then he bought a Tesla. Amen. Amen. How do you like it? It's a cool car, right? All right, TLT is going up. What time is it? It's only been 6 minutes. Give it another like 20 minutes. See if it reverses or not. And then if it holds, then that'll be good. AMD on the low and the SPY. Trump did say he's giving an update. Yeah, I think in a couple of hours he will be giving us an update there on the chips and whatever else happened. Bank of America on the high, and then Bull, you guys said this thing was halted. Oh, Webull. When did this thing start trading? Is this IPO? What? I didn't even know Webull existed on the market. That's very interesting. Yeah, Webull. That could be interesting. I think it'll get activity. I don't know if I would give them my social security number, but, you know, that's all you guys. Good luck. Yeah, Webull is now public. You think it's a SPAC? Oh, okay. Even better. So, yeah, watch yourself. Even better. Even better. Good, good. Verizon on the high. Deco! Get that law term, baby. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for being thankful. Thank you for staying in the game, baby. Yeah, all the chips are up. Literally, Dell, AMD, Broadcom, Marvel, SPY's coming up, or excuse me, bonds coming up, TLT, SPY coming down, Verizon, AT&T, those are moving around, and Staples, those are going around great. Apple, the ones from the morning are still holding the same price, but then the ones from the earlier are up like 200-something%. Still in those. The Intels came down a little bit. Those are 120 in the morning. They're at 80. You watch some of the old videos. It's good, I think, in a weird way, by posting less Watchlist on the other channel. YouTube's starting to recommend some of the classics. But good. I saw a lot of you said that this weekend. But either I hope you had a good weekend. NVIDIA near the low. Let me check healthcare. Yeah, those are actually doing good. I mean, you are up. Everything's up 1.7 on the NASDAQ, 1.0 on the Russell, 1.0 on the Dow, 1.3 on the SPY. MP on the high. Again, MP, that's related to the metals deal that Trump is going to announce today, or there's talks on that. HII. See those. Goldman CEO says markets will likely to continue to be volatile until we have further clarity. Ay, these are so expensive, Habibi. Beautiful. All right, I thought they were going to scam me. I got one. Apple 10 shares. Good luck. Ethereum pop. And then SPY kind of coming straight down. I mean, there was a lot of pre-market gains. I mean, Apple's already given up half of it now. So maybe that's why those plays were cheap. That play is still holding up, though. Like I'm saying, if you don't understand what I did in the morning, the stock was up 7%, and then there was options that literally were red. They were cheaper than the day before. So, and then I think they were just lagging, but now that play is still holding. The other plays dropped like 70% from the top. They were up like 300. Now they're up like 230. But yeah, you've given up half of that. SPY near the low. It's starting to look a little bit more now just gradual rather than that aggressiveness we had in the AM. Yeah, 5422 though, so it sucks. You're still like right at this level. So again, I drew this line years ago. That's the craziest part about all this. But you hit 5460. We fill the gap. Again, it's still like another like 60, 70 points. Meta antitrust trial opens before judge in Washington. That's coming out now. Bond still up. Kroger. Value names are holding, my friends. Yeah, all of these value names are actually still doing good again. I don't know if there is as good of a play. Let me see. XEL. No news on Pinduoduo, but again, the exemption stuff, I think that applies to them almost directly, even though it's not as technology related. But if anybody wants exceptions and, again, has to deal with that, it would be them. But I don't know. Bro, what the fuck just happened to that play? Did you guys just market the fuck out of that? Why did that play double? Okay, make that shit free, bro. I'm not. What the fuck is wrong with you guys? Yeah, we'll make that free. Dude, that play just tripled for no reason. I like it. It was a watchlist play. But other than that, we'll see. But make that free. That's insanity. Ten-year yield falls 4.39. Wow. Falling at 4.39. It's a high level. And then, why is the NASDAQ dumping? So NQ futures are flushing. SPY coming into the low here. Wait if the bonds actually react now, too. That's going to be the next thing. Actually, what time is it? Bro, and then is Friday closed? Isn't it Good Friday? So I think all of the plays this week, yeah, every market's closed on the 18th. Let's see. China play is going nuts. Futu, Pinduoduo, all of them, literally. And then value as well. Kroger, and then a couple of medicine plays. Watch if we start pumping back up here. Again, high ticker, short-term velocity. A lot of things just started moving right there. Again, Futu, Pinduoduo, anything related to China, those are going up a lot. McDonald's on the high. I like value a lot. I don't have any value plays, though. I guess you could count one of them. Baba 113. That's impressive. Again, McDonald's. We saw a lot of that last week. Oh, those premiums are washed. Very difficult, Habibi. Very, very difficult. And then Old Apple's still up, but they're at 200%. They won't climb any higher. Again, the defense plays are doing good. Intel started to fade a little bit. TSM, Broadcom bounce. Again, Futu, Pinduoduo. All these China plays, and then again, like Kroger, Pepsi, XLP, Abivi. All the values are running. I don't know if you still have time to grab them. They kind of seem a little bit up there, but it's slower. It's like it feels like a value rotation, but again, it's happening very, very slow. Are you driving to Florida? Oh, I know. Maybe I'll go live. I like days off and I don't, but yeah, it's kind of unexpected Friday. All right, SPY is dumping right now. Again, the NASDAQ already looked ugly leading into this. I mean, you have given up about 1% now, about 3/4. And then take note there again, dollar and bonds. You already had some reaction there. Oil's down. Oil's about to go negative. I haven't looked at any of the other currencies. Mexico's up. Let's get Bitcoin and gold up here. Yeah, Bitcoin's still barely green. Again, well, like I was telling you guys, today is still some of what we're waiting for on the bonds. Like we said, if it's going to get bad, we still had Monday on the calendar. I don't think we're out of the clear just yet. It was good on Friday. You held up. You finally got a bond bid over the weekend. Nothing bad happened, but I mean, the bond market is still objectively sensitive right now. So whatever happens, yeah, I would pay attention. Futu again, another China name. SPY near the bottom. Those apples are still holding. Tesla plays. Oh, I don't know. I don't have any place. I like it for earnings though. It just, for me, it's gonna depend on the premium. So that's what I was saying on the watch list, is that as long as the break evens aren't like extremely high, and it looks like you could even play Tesla and Netflix both ways for cheap, that's what I like. But other than that, I have no idea about like one direction or not. What time is it? I don't know if it comes out later. You do have Fed inflation expectations. Again, XLP dancing around. I would like a staple play. I just can't really find any good ones. And then Apple's starting to climb. At least the premiums are. Yeah, that little move there. And then SPY near the low. Couple value names still going. And then material plays. Remember Ocean Materials. That's going to be another headline today. Yeah, Webull is a SPAC apparently. I did not know that they existed, but yeah. NEE, Netflix Thursday till next week. Only way to play next week's if it's probably gonna be 10% minimum, but don't pay more than that. Even then, anything at 10% minimum for earnings is kind of high. So that's what you just got to be mindful for. Walmart on the high, Citi. So again, remember Walmart, we had a couple of those plays. I don't know if those went up on Friday. Oh, they got washed. Those did have a bid, but now they don't. But yeah, Walmart, Citi, again, bank earnings, you had a couple of those. Estee Lauder. Citi's up 3.4. Damn, bro. All these banks. Yeah, Estee Lauder's up 3.8. 57. Again, SPY at VWAP bonds came back to open. Futu again, bro. And then AT&T. Ay. Yeah, staples are still holding up, man. Webull round 2. Futu as well. Boeing on the high now. I feel like we haven't heard him. And then Baba as well, too. Baba back to the getting their 114. Yeah, there's Bobo. Trump, I have no idea. I mean, people were saying within the next hour or two, but just be flexible. Sometimes he's on the schedule. He's a little later. Ideally, though, we're waiting to hear about chip exemptions at whatever was over the weekend, and then we're going to hear a little bit about Ocean Materials. You almost got the wire today. Almost got it. We are waiting. We are waiting indeed. Yang flushing. I mean, again, China's doing really good to start off. So it's funny because they even made some comments that seemed very light. Everybody debated even the rumor over the weekend. But again, like the impact on Apple, let alone China plays, has been very, very big. Yeah, gold moving. K-Web is on the high. Again, Futu. Apple's on the low. Apple's already given up 3%. That's the crazy part. You went to Mount Rushmore? Nice. I've always wanted to go. Okay, you're still holding up. Again, a couple of value names on the low. China's still going, and then those material plays are all still moving up. And then SPY still holding. Bonds on the low. Again, there's Babo. One more gain. That one's weird. Omex or SPY on the high. I have Omex here. I meant to put something else. That SPY candle fake. Or not big. Trump, congratulations to Daniel Noboa. So I think Trump is live. I'm getting comments now. Oh, and then the Blue Origin celebrity flight. Katy Perry and Jeff Bezos' fiance. I don't know if you guys are into that. Okay, SPY working its way up. Not bad. Mr. Trump. Yeah, bro, this is weird. Something's weird with this. I found one. Yeah. This one's weird. So I'm going to send you a plate. I haven't looked at SPYs yet. I need to actually get you guys a SPY call out. But again, until we hear your boy, just today, what's the catalyst? You don't really know. You got like 2%, but you're not. Like it's a weird one. This one's kind of odd. They landed back on Earth. Oh, they already went up and came down? No way. Let's stay focused, baby. Hey, man, interesting. Good morning. Lock in. Lock in. Third time buying back. Good luck. I've not played with any of them. Like I said, this puts and calls all kind of decayed today. So that's the good part. Bob is killing it. Bob is back up, about to hit 115. That's literally printing, even Pinduoduo, Futu. I mean, half of these are China plays so far. And then you got bonds on the low. So let's see what happens. Trump is speaking.
Windows,
Oh, yeah.
and my brain created
Is that Katy Perry? I think that's Katy Perry.
I
went to space and I liked it. The Earth looks like it's not flat. I went to space and I liked it. No? Okay.
Sarah.
My bad. I thought.
Good.
I don't know how I was feeling the vibe.
Here goes Jeff Bezos to open the hatch.
She didn't really close it again. Come on out, guys.
You say they didn't really close it? It's terrifying. You left the door ajar on the rocket ship?
Go see your baby.
Where are my babies?
They're over here. Go see them.
Where? Oh, we have to go
Right
there.
there.
Okay.
Finger to the sky? Wow.
Katie.
I didn't expect that from a devil worshiper, but okay. Why is Katy Perry throwing up that finger to the sky like that, bro? I can't find Trump yet, though. Hold on.
Quiet, but then also really alive. And you look at it and you're like, we're all in this together. Like, as
The service is a lot worse when you get back to Earth. So I don't know if you guys knew that. But like way better service in space. That's why it's cutting out now. They're back to you get way better connection up there.
joy.
I can't find Trump for some
Complete and
reason.
utter joy
I only had that one comment.
Like, it
Musk
makes me
says
wanna
soon
come back
AI
and
will
just
far
hug everyone
exceed
and
the
be like,
best
"Oh my
human
God,
reasoning."
We're in this together.
And then
Like, that's what
Goldman
this
is
and
talking right now.
Jeff had told
Kinda
you
earnings,
that
and
it
there's
would change
Weeble.
you more than you know, and I know you're only a few minutes removed from the capsule, but I can tell already. Yeah. Oh.
To be this I did. I'm like I don't cry that often. So I didn't expect to be this emotional, but it's also all the love that was in that capsule and all the heart and the feelings and all the things and like seeing Jeff before I left, I just went. Oof.
Effie. Oh. All right, Baba's still going. I'm looking for Trump. He only had one comment. He's talking somewhere. It's just not live yet. He said, congratulations to Daniel Noboa.
What an incredible experience for you. But the fact that when you're in there, we got to hear some of your audio, but give us some of those moments.
Boeing is popping now, too, again.
The second you took
Yeah,
off
and
to the
Boeing's been
second you
dancing. I
landed,
kind of want
describe,
one,
if you
but
can, for us what
I
we
would
didn't
like-
get to hear.
Apple
It was a
plays are
feeling
starting to
of
decline.
joy and like and camaraderie. It was a feeling of gratefulness. It was a feeling
was a
that
truth post?
we're doing this. And you know, Alan Shepard, I told you about this, did this same
I think it
exact
was.
flight. And he became
Yeah,
the
'cause I
first
can't see him
American
anywhere.
in space. And 6 women just did the same flight that
Yeah.
he didn't.
I just want to keep hugging you.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I hope that more people get to see this because I feel,
Okay,
I don't
Spy's
even
about
know
to go
how much
lower.
it's gonna
I'm going to go to
change
the
me.
bathroom.
I want to thank
Follow
the
me on
whole
Instagram
team.
at the Trading Fraternity. Real
look
Code
at
News
that.
on
They work
Twitter.
so hard to make sure this vehicle gets up and safe and
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. It's one thing to say you're going to do it. It's another thing to actually do it. And I know there's a phrase in your family that life takes off on the other side of fear. And here you are, just having landed back on Earth. And now you are officially, Lauren Sanchez, already adding to your extensive resume, you are an astronaut. Congratulations.
thank you. I'm very excited. I'm excited to share it with the world, and I'm so grateful to everyone here.
I love you. Go be with your family. But
to process and download what just happened to me.
well, get on in here, Amanda. Someone that can now articulate exactly how Lauren is feeling. Lauren being so candid about overcome with emotion. How are you feeling? I know, Amanda, this has been a dream of yours, a long-awaited dream, and now it is finally official. You are an astronaut. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. You know, I usually have nice words to say, but in this moment, I just want all survivors to know that you can heal. No dream is too wild, and that if it's so wild out there, like going to space, you can absolutely make it through, and it can absolutely be possible.
You mentioned to us prior to going up, you said that you needed to go to space to heal. I know you're only a few minutes removed from this incredible experience. Do you feel healed?
You know, I had a zero-G indicator that I didn't know if I would bring, and I ended up bringing it.
And explain for the folks at home that don't know what that means, what it is that you're holding.
Yes, the zero-G indicator is something all astronauts have that floats once you hit space, lets you know you're there. I brought a promise that I wrote to myself. I've talked about that.
And share for what is this right here?
Yes, and this one I didn't know if I would bring, but I ended up bringing it and floating it, and it's the hospital band from the day. And, I got to honor her today, and I'm so grateful to the thousands of people, the engineers, the scientists, just
Netflix
everyone,
call, way to post it.
who
Yeah, I'm
has made
confused.
this
I'm
what
not
we
gonna lie.
are.
I thought it was Katy Perry, and then I looked at the screen. I'm like, that's not Katy Perry. I was just looking for Trump, and then that came on. Again, they went to space and came down. So that's cool. You guys usually like the space stuff. I'm not the biggest space guy, but yeah. Yeah, Boeing's moving up. There's a SPY. I mean, we're still a little bit below open. It's about 1%. NASDAQ back to 1.7. We were up a little more in the morning. So we'll see. All right. 3 candles right back up. But you're still literally like right below there, right below the opening. And then remember the level. What is it? 54.47 or 40.52? And then Webull, that keeps going up. 40.9. 52-week high. Broadcom, I haven't looked at the chips. NVIDIA's coming up. Again, they were up a lot more pre-market. Same with Apple. Apple's giving up half of that. And then just BABA, JD, Pinduoduo, all of the China names have just been running. I am not muted, my friend. You might be. The bulls don't want to let the rally die. Well, remember, last week was bad, and then it kind of got good, but then it was still bad. I think you're going to have a lot of debates on permanent damage this week, but just some people, it's hard because the uncertainty. I can't say it confidently. We got to find out, but, I mean, long story short, let me ask you guys this. Do you think peak volatility is behind you? Or do you think that was what we just went through was kind of a peak in terms of negativity? Because, again, you had the deep dour uncertainty of tariffs and high rates, and then now, I mean, we are already walking things back. So that's kind of the debate now, but, I mean, hey, it's up to you, really. Do you think it is walked back or not? I think uncertainty, you'll never know that answer, but generally, I mean, we did go through kind of our own little range. I'll always believe we're not out of the woods. I do think by day 365 things will look a lot more different, but just keep in mind what the last few weeks really was. We escalated, we got really, really escalatory, and then you had a weird kind of pivot, and then it gave back some, and then we held it last week on Friday, and now we're entering this week to see whether or not that remains. But I think it's just a matter of uncertainty staying, and then again more stuff coming back. Because remember, I don't know if now is a good time to remind you guys, hard data has gotten better over the last 3 months. So especially as of late, your core CPI negative or headline CPI negative, core CPI down, PPI down. Almost every single gauge you would want is done well in that sense. Even, again, the consumer hasn't even really weakened too much yet. So we'll see. But, I mean, it's a weird – I think we're in a weird middle ground from a lot of fear towards do we take this as good, or is it still just kind of a little bit of relief and then back to it? But Michael Wilson, a lot of people on Wall Street, they are still on the mentality of sell every rip. Again, a lot of people are very much saying, until we get a real policy pivot, then yeah, you're already dealing with the damage for the most part. So either way, I think this week is going to be a mix of both slower and then a lot of debate on what these factors really are. ADM to phase out China trading under Topfer Shanghai. Okay, Target, you guys called that one out there a little bit ago. It's near the high and it's getting some volume. Oh, we had those targets. I forgot. I remember that flip. Yeah, we already got rid of those. That's the word going around right now. People are saying a lot of guidances are going to get cut. Not necessarily like lowered, but I think it was Jamie Dimon who said it, that he expects a lot of companies to not issue guidance this quarter. So that could happen. I just don't know. I don't know really how to forecast it. SPY, just let me check how it's moved. MP on the high. Again, those material plays. So, again, that's related to the, what's it called? That announcement for the ocean metals. All the SPY calls did go up after being red. Well, some of them did, actually, no. Ooh. Yeah. Some of those puts got slashed 30%. So, yeah, it kind of looks like Friday. I haven't made a trade on any of the SPYs yet. I've only done individuals. We took a little bit of profits, and then, yeah, very interesting, though. Apple on the low now, so that is not working. So literally up 7, now they're up only 3. You think last week shows how Trump's term will be? Just, if I could remind everybody, by day 365, things will look a lot different. So this has been an exciting time, and we've learned a lot, but it's just kind of been a month between March, I guess a month and a half now, between like the beginning of March and now, but keep in mind, by day 365, we'll find out some other stuff, but certainty will kill you. Okay, you're back to VWAP. Well, yeah, I was even explaining this. I was even having this talk with my mom because we were just talking about a lot of things, and that's why I was just like, it's so much going on, and obviously these reactions have been big, and it's like it's capturing people's attention. Again, even my sister's like, should I stop adding to my 401k? And everyone sees a lot going on, but just remember, if this is how much has happened in 3 months, like what do you really think is going to be happening by December 31st, 2025? I feel like we're either going to have a way better handle on what's going on, or it's going to be a lot worse. So make no mistake with what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's one outcome or not. I actually don't even know. But I am kind of keeping myself open to the possibilities of either direction. You mean the reaction? Well, yeah, like I'm saying, though, just take everything in, and you may see some stuff, and you may be right, but like we've talked about, just certainty is going to kill you. That's all. So whatever you're seeing now, to a degree, we just be careful of making the assumption that everything will be like that and stay like that. Because even with the reaction of like Europe and all of that, remember, before all of this, people were dumping Europe. Again, I was telling you guys about humiliation flipping in November, December. So I talked about this whole idea of dumping the dollar and going to the euro, and we talked about that being a winner months in advance. So, but then again, at the time, even look at the yen, nobody even wanted to buy the yen. They were scared of it. But now you're watching that change. So that's where I'm saying just be careful with what we think we know, because when this all said and done, people ignored Europe in a lot of things, and then all of a sudden now it's taken that reaction. But that's either going to get stronger or that'll dissipate by day 365. So that's kind of where it's like we just don't know. And that's where, again, hubris and humility, I would err towards humility. And I think, there's a lot going on, and we, right when we think we know what's happening, something flips. But just keep in mind, a lot is still in the realm of being able to change by the end of the year. Yeah. Oh, what? Nayib Bukele. So, yeah, Trump is about to go live with Salvador. Oh, no, wait. That says in an hour. There's one scheduled at 8. Yeah, no, both of them are at 8 now. So, yeah, 45 minutes. You might get the comments ahead of time. And then the war between Russia and Ukraine is Biden's war, not mine. I just got here for 4 years, says Trump. True Social. Had no problem preventing it. President Putin and everyone else respected your president. I had nothing to do with this war, but I'm working diligently to get the death and destruction to stop. Trump says Zelensky, Biden did horrible job in allowing war to begin. War must stop fast. President Zelensky and Crooked Joe did an absolute horrible job in allowing this to begin. There were so many ways of preventing it, but that is the past. Now we have to get it to stop and fast. So sad. Okay, you're right at VWAP. You went back to open for a second, came back down. Bonds sold off half the gain. I mean, Nasdaq's only down like 0.5% from its high, and then same thing with the SPY. You're kind of just chilling. Amazon, yeah, barely by 0.5. Again, I think NVIDIA and Apple, that chip stuff, is really what we're waiting for. And what was that other one? Was it TMC? Or no, who's the other one? MP. Yeah, that one still keeps going. Southwest on the low. Airlines, and now you're getting a red. So gas just moved, and then airlines, and then SPY just took about 1.5 on a candle right there. So kind of big. Apple even flushing down to the low too. Well, the SPY premium, again, both sides were down, and it just was moving slow. So it's like Friday just, again, lacking catalysts. And then, yeah, you're just coming back down. That one candle took you down 1.5. Oklo, energy names. Again, energy, nat gas, even uranium. Those are all moving to the downside right now. 8.6. You're still hugging this level, though. I mean, you are technically 20 points off of it. But, yeah, man, we've gapped up and held pretty well. I mean, you're still another 50, 60 points from the gap fill. GME on the high. This pops and drops in relation to premium. Yeah, pretty much like that's why I've noticed on the put, it's just like wiping you out 30%. So like from here to here, that wiped out a put with 1 day of time by 30%. And then now it's actually came back. It's a little lower. And then the same thing with the calls. So your calls just went from here to here. They went from 530 to like 399. So yeah, pretty much like every move you're going to get knocked 20 to 30%, assuming it stays there. And then like, so if you bounce, I think the call will come back up. But if it takes too long, then you'll just get the 10, 15% time decay. All right, starting to go down a little bit lower. The 25 put. I mean, it just really depends on what the announcement is. So, again, Trump is going to announce some ocean mining thing. So, if it turns into a sell the news, maybe that could play for the put side. Or if there's something better, it could lead to upside. It just all depends, but that'll be very speculative. So, speculate how you please. Just control the budget. Tesla, again, SPY coming down. You're down about 2 points there in the last 3 minutes. So, yeah, that picked up quick. No real headlines. We are waiting for Trump in the next 30, 40 minutes. You are back near the low, about 4 points off the low of the day. Once you start breaking that, that's going to open up whether or not you gap fill. With IRM, nothing really. We just bought IRM back in the day, and then it went up thousands of %, and I just said don't buy it again. And then Elon brought them up during one of the Doge things, but that's it really. About one VIX 30. I still can't believe the VIX is this high. It's good that it came back below 40, but yeah, you still have this is an elevated VIX environment, 32 of last Wednesday. I forgot. This gives me Friday vibes. So, yeah, I mean, if you get the right rumor, but the point is we're holding up, and that's what I think a lot of people are missing, is that even on Friday, because remember, we ripped up, we gave back a lot of it, but then you're holding up the walk back. So it's like we are walked a little bit back from the edge. So if the news gets bad and the price action and the bonds get bad, we're right back into the thick of it. But for now, this could hold up. I mean, that's at least a way better sign than not. Yeah, Weeble on the high. SPAC City. Yeah, and then you had Zelensky comments from Mr. Trump. Canada Carney speaking. We didn't hear much on him over the weekend. Again, Trump is going to be with Nayib Bukele. USAR, what the hell is this? USAA Rare Earth? Whoa. Okay, bonds are starting to pop. This looks like that's related to one of those material plays. I think starting to move. Again, that and MP. Those are the other ones. There's a few of the smaller names that have moved too, but those are the ones that I keep seeing on the high ticker. Oh, those Boeings that came back up. He suspended his campaign? Really? Wait, so is he not going to do it? Hot dog. Pulte tweet on Fannie Mae? What did they say? Pulte? And then SPY near the low. TMC. That's the other materials one. They didn't pop yet, though. So they're up, but MP and then USAR, whatever that one was. Yeah, CRML is on the list, too. There's a lot. You read a newsletter suggesting Israel will cause a potential late April, mid-May war. Do I see this as a cause for the conflict? No. I'm not too concerned with those. I just think it's sad and it's wrong. But other than that, I don't I don't think there's any war effect on the stock market unless it's like with Europe or somebody bigger that we haven't seen before. Other than that, I don't, even the effect on oil and everything else, I think it's lower on the list of potential events. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but that's just how I view it. So like diversification, all our other strategies remain, but like long story short, I'm not really doing anything different to account for that war risk. I think the markets have handled it already pretty well. Bro, you're just chilling. I see what you're saying by Wednesday, because Wednesday we didn't do that much. Feel a breakout. I think today is just a weird one with the news. Because again, even when I posted the watch list, everyone's like, no, the news wasn't real. But then it held all weekend. And then like you still have the gain, but then we're waiting for the next step. But yeah, we're kind of, after being on flooring it the last couple of days leading into it, Friday and even today are just dramatically slower. EU trade negotiator in Washington to meet trade team. Progress is being made on a more full agreement. So now there is comments on an EU trade agreement. Positive. I don't know how big it's going to be, but watch the market. See if we actually get some movement. Where should we go to? Yeah, bro, this sucks. Okay, I think I found one to the upside, not the downside, though. So watch this one. From the mountains. Yeah, it's a lot smaller. That's why I found one play. I want it half off pretty much. So I streamed alerted it. Keep that one. No trade yet, but I'm eyeing it. I could see it kind of developing, but the downside's going to be a little trickier. I think if we could just burn enough time, maybe we get some UVXYs, but we will see. Democrats propose Clean Cloud Act to target emissions from AI and crypto data centers. All right. Biogen. Watch healthcare. Low ticker velocity is picking up. Again, bonds even got a bid in the last 5 minutes. Estee Lauder. On AMD, nah, just keep watching it. I think they play an important role, but I don't have anything else. Am I familiar with the fifth prophecy? No, I'm not. But be careful. You guys are getting a little cuckoo. That's it. I got homeboy asking me to be worried about a war. The next homie was like, I had a dream. There was an attack. And then now you asking me about prophecy. Y'all going cuckoo. Just remember, we don't know what's going to happen. Be humble. don't get hubris, seek the Lord, and nobody will ever know the date. And yeah, that's, you know what I'm saying? Just relax a little bit. I think there's a lot of headlines and it's easy to go overboard, but I think the challenging part is that just take it all in and don't be too influenced to jump around with the ideas. And we just got to be patient. We're coasting, baby. Coasting. And do not be afraid. Amen. Have no fear, baby. Have no fear. Goldman CEO says there's enormous volume in currencies at the moment as people think about the dollar. He's still talking? Okay, so I'm watching that one. That play already went up. So see, that play, you could take it whenever you want, but I think half off that play hits. Or it's at least worth the risk to reward. The SPY's going to 500. You don't know why. Just make a play on it and post your play, and that's the best you could do. But other than that, yeah, that's it. No more weird talk, please. Thank you. So if God told you the stock market's going to go down, I think you guys should pray about it. But I don't give a fuck. Don't tell me about it. Or anybody in the chat for that matter. So just when it's all said and done, if you got a feeling or something, best you could do is make a play, and I hope you are guided to the land of milk and honey. But other than that, though, we're gonna close this space to those types of talks. Thank you. See what happens next. Okay. God bless. Don't apologize to me. I mean, I think you guys should apologize to God. You know what I'm saying? Believe me, I'm not offended by it. I just don't want you to mislead people. But I mean, you have a jealous God, so you should take it up with him, not me. Don't apologize to me. I'm not the one offending him. You know, he says nobody knows, so I don't know. Some people are very confident. Giglet. Big tech isn't bad. Let me get you guys a checkup. It's been an hour. It has been an hour on Monday. And we have... What? 460 names in the green. Apple flushing now. Deutsche Bank now expects Fed to deliver 25 interest rate cuts, 25 basis points in the year versus no cuts in 25. So now Deutsche Bank thinks the Fed is going to cut from before. But yeah, you have 460 names in the green. And then only like 40 names in the red. I didn't see that coming. Yeah, Intel up, Apple down, and then SPY right above VWAP. So yeah, you have a lot of advancers. That little rally and whatever the news was over the weekend, that's holding. Dow Jones, 26 in the green, 4 in the red. I have no idea why Intel's up. And then NASDAQ 100, 94 green, 5 in the red. What? Yeah, it's weird because I guess it feels like you're like going down and it feels slow and some of you have gotten dreams and shit. But at the end of the day, dude, like 90% of the market's green. OpenAI is preparing to launch new AI models as soon as this week. Yeah, well, generally, though, I mean, everything's holding up that gap, and that gap in the morning was big. Because literally 90% of the market is just in the green. MSTR ripping. Again, Intel's back at 21. SPY's trying to hold this rally, so we'll see. Those SPY plays did go up a little bit, but I'm watching again. We just want to see the decay. Otherwise, we've been moving slow. Again, still the movement. You're holding the gains, but the back and forth swings, I don't think you've moved more than 0.5%. OpenAI believes it could charge $20,000 per month for the doctorate level AI, the information. Would any of you ever pay $20,000 a month for OpenAI? But yeah. I had 20. They said they could get 20,000. They said deep sea cool, bro. Deep who? What? It'd have to make you $75K a month. I guess that would make sense. Palantir, Dollar General, high ticker's running. Okay, a lot of names are moving. Webull back to 52. That SPAC's killing it. After that little halt thing, it went 30 to 50. NVIDIA trying to move up. Apple is sold off 4%. And then that's still holding. Then SPY, second highest you've really been all day. So see if we get above here. That'll be good. Other than that, though, you're still within that morning 0.5%. Yeah, Intel, it's in the top right, looking good. Hasn't hit a new high yet in a little bit, but it's just hugging there. And then high ticker, yeah, dude, the gas is still there, man. It's looking good. It's only 7:30, so we've been here for an hour. Not too bad. Let's take a look at the volume. Like I already gave you the checkup. Everything is green. 15 million. So not too bad. Estee Lauder, again, China-related plays are still doing good today. Yeah, Pinduoduo, Estee Lauder, Baba, all of them. And then SPA just chilling. Chevron, I don't really like energy, but I think you got to work through some of this like early policy. I think eventually oil companies will do good, but again, I mean, Donald Trump's policy should lead to a lower price of oil, but it just depends what happens around the rest of the world. But I could see the play. I just don't like oil for the long term. I've never added energy. I prefer biotechs and healthcare instead of oil. That's kind of my boomer energy play. But other than that, I think oil is going to go down, but it will eventually stabilize, and there will, I think, some point in the next 4 years, there's going to be a window where oil companies go from underperforming to outperforming. But for now, yeah, you got to you might have to wait or at least have a definable goal. I mean, if you are looking for yield and you have a lot of money and you're willing to tie up a decent amount, oil and energy could be good for the long term. But other than that, it's not necessarily my go-to. Divi's Pfizer. That was one I was thinking about over the weekend. Because I like Pfizer. I still think they have more downside, but it's dropped a decent amount. And then now I'm just... I was looking at it. I'm like, it's higher. It's one of the only dividend names that I like that pays higher than a bond right now. It's actually the only one, I believe, except for Whirlpool. And then again, Pfizer has different exposure than washing machines. Yeah, TLT's almost given up the whole rally. It was, I guess, half of it. And then SPY's still holding up. Look at those SPY plays are lagging. Perfect. See, remember I told you, watch at 50% off, but pretty much that rally out of the monies did not, near the monies barely move too. Yeah. So that was a slow-ass move still. This isn't really changing any of the plays. I'm not a big fan of Yield Max. I've heard good and I've heard bad, mostly bad, but I just don't buy. Whatever you buy for yield, you're going to risk your equity. That's just the general rule of thumb. It doesn't always play out like that, but I'm usually towards, if I'm, don't try to force yield out of something that doesn't pay yield, because if you do, you are going to put the equity at risk. And make sure you guys know what your goal is. Do you guys want to see it? So, and this is the beauty of this one, because I hope you guys realize, like, everybody in my life, I genuinely give everybody the same advice. It's just up to them to listen. I don't really care what you do with the advice after I give it to you, but, and you might get a lot of, info from other places, but I would, if I were you, I would figure out what your goals really are. And I know you're going to hear a lot of things, but you got to know what you're trying to get out of all of this, especially your investments, and especially as things get more volatile. So here's a message between me and my sister. So this was on Friday. Remember, I was texting her on Friday. I posted it. So here it is. My sister on Friday, she was like, should I stop putting money into my 401k for a little? And I said, laughing my ass off. Who told you that? Your choice, big dog. She said, my brain. Like, why would I put money into something with no yield? I ain't no millionaire. That's their job. So I thought to ask my brother who knows more. So this right here is a lie, in my opinion. So right here, right away, she lied to me. I didn't call her out on it. That's fine. I don't really care. That's what I'm trying to tell all of you. I don't give a fuck how you came to your false conclusion or not. I don't really care. I really don't. I'll give you the right answer. And quite frankly, if you follow it or not, I don't really give a shit. It is your life. You will deal with it. Right? Yeah. So this is why I'm bringing this up right now. What sticks out? Something is very odd. So I want you to think about it. I'll read through the rest of it and we'll come back to it. But she says that's their job. I thought to ask my brother, and I said the goal isn't really yield, but like I said, your choice. I would just look into the history of investing. China Xi calls on China and Vietnam to jointly oppose unilateral bullying. Xinhua. Interesting. Xi Jinping kind of calls out Vietnam. So see if we get a reaction. Watch some of the China play. Look, Nike's going up on that. You might get a bigger Nike play, low key. I already have some of them. I like that. Watch if that develops. Then SPY a little lower. But yeah. So either way, I told her, hold and never sell till you turn it into a house. 20, 30 years is my philosophy. 10 years minimum. Donald Trump will be gone, but the market won't be. I think that's a very important piece of information for all of you. Whether you like Donald Trump or not, just remember, this isn't permanent. No matter what anybody tells you. So I told her, she said, maybe wait until it's more stable. And I said, just do your thing. But here's the point. And I told her, because her other account is up. So she looks at her 401k, the account that I made her that follows along with the YouTube, that account is still green. So, and that's why I told her, just look at it and be careful. But at the end of the day, the thing that's weird is all of a sudden, she's asking me about yield. That's really weird. My sister has never asked me in my life about yield. So yeah, China Xi urges China, Vietnam to jointly tackle online gambling and telecom fraud and others across border crimes. Huh? They're making it about gambling? I don't know, but Vietnam, China headlines. Yield is a very weird term to use for a normal person, but it doesn't matter. It's yield. I'm not saying normal people shouldn't understand it, but like it's saying, I didn't call her out on this because I know my sister it would have led to another conversation of 15 other things that didn't matter. I just wanted to get to the point, the conclusion, give her the info, tell her not to sell and be a dummy and miss out, right? But at the end of the day, no, she's not on fixed income. No, she's a little older than me. She's closer to my age than not, which is hilarious. But at the end of the day, all of a sudden, she's asking about yield. Yield is how much you get paid from like dividends. It's how much you're returning back on your investment while you still are holding. That doesn't matter about your 401k. You see what I'm saying? So she asked me, she's like, well, my portfolio is not yielding much. I'm like, dude, your 401k isn't about yield. You don't care about that right now. You can if you direct your 401k and make an IRA and put dividend stocks in it. But most people, you don't really care about the yield. That's what I was saying. Like, if you're 10, 15, 20 years out, you will get a yield and you'll get some guaranteed return. But the goal is to, like, buy good quality assets and then let the equity grow. And that's why you guys are asking me about yield max. That's what I'm saying is just like a lot of people, if you wrongfully focus on yield, both in this volatility or like buying one of these investments, it could mess up your strategy a lot because there is going to be a very big performance gap between those who go after yield and then those who just go after quality names or equity. So, yeah. She wasn't actually talking about the term yield. She was talking about her account. I don't know. That's the problem when dealing with, people that are kind of blinded by the wrong things. Because she's asked me other stuff before and I couldn't tell. But like I said to her, her other account was up. So whatever she was telling me about yield doesn't really make sense in my mind. But all of a sudden, I'm just, my sister comes to me and says, I don't want to invest anymore. I don't want to save. I'm not making enough yield. That's very odd. But like I told her, it's her choice. You could do whatever you want. If you really don't want to buy anything, don't buy anything. Call it a day, live with it. But like I told her, I really right now, especially if you have 20, 30 years, 10 years minimum, I wouldn't be thinking about these things. High yield, low yield, doesn't really matter right now. But investing, saving, and being consistent, that will be the difference between being further behind in the next decade or being able to actually be ahead. And I wouldn't be caught up in all of that, and I would just ignore Trump and everything like nothing happened. I know that sounds oblivious, but it's a good answer. And I literally, little by little, just keep saving, keep investing. If you feel like the volatility's high, keep saving and let the prices move around, but don't get into the, your 401k should always go. You should always keep doing that. And I wouldn't really be scared of these things when, again, the 5, 10, 15 years, I don't think those outlooks have changed too rapidly. Oh, what is it, MP? She doesn't like the volatility and just wants to hold cash. It could be. All I know is that she never knew what these words meant. She never cared. All of a sudden, she cares at the worst possible time to care. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's what I think, like, all of a sudden, people are randomly going to be talking about yield, and they never cared about it. They're going to be talking about stocks and volatility, but it's more of a something happened, let's look at this, rather than, hey, what's our plan? Why did we save? What were we doing that got us here? Has that changed? These are the real pertinent questions, but unfortunately, the volatility has gotten people to start looking and asking things whether or not they were planning for them or not. Well, yeah, even last week was a 7% gain on the NASDAQ. and it felt like a terrible week because it was bad at one point. But yeah, there's no escaping this negativity. That's why I think no matter what, if this week is good, bad, we pivot or not, everybody is still going to have to figure out whether or not there's permanent damage, just because all of this fear is still elevated. All right, that account's getting good right now, or not, that green. A lot of the Chinese gambling operations, the sketchy ones, are in Cambodia or Macau. They're tied to the same crime networks behind fentanyl trafficking. Oh. That's a very good take. That's why you could argue that's positive. It could be a little bit of a reach. I can't confirm that, but I like it. I like how you're thinking. Well, that's what I'm saying, is just a lot of times people in fear, they'll just start randomly now being aware of this. But what I would tell you, you should know your goals right now. Because if randoms and my sister are starting to talk like this, you're going to have to deal with a lot more info. The question is, what's going to influence you? And that's why I'm saying I would just have a plan and stick to it and know why you have what you have. Know why you're saving and why you started. And if you are going to change your plans, you better have a really good reason to. But other than that, I think know your goals. Know your goals right now and what you're going for. Are you going for yield? Are you going for equity? And that is what you got to kind of focus on. Yeah, I already had some Nikes, but I was going to add another one. But anything Vietnam, they started to go. Gold is on the high, too. Gold, Guild, MSTR. High ticker is almost fully gassed, too, bro. Kind of crazy. Excellent. Yeah, and then again, SPY calls further out the monies are not going up. Near the monies, it's a slow day. So until we get like craziness or this ends, and then gold's really ripping. And then bonds near the low now. Even, dude, that didn't even work too. Little scammers. Oh, we still have to wait. We still need to hear from Trump on the chips and then Trump on the materials. And then he goes live, I think, in 10 minutes with your boy, Bukele. Is going for yield a bad thing? No. Yield isn't a bad thing. It just set your goal for it and stick with it throughout. You see what I'm saying? Like, we had goals to increase our dividend yield last year. We did that at a really good time. You know what I'm saying? When tech was running, we doubled our dividend. We just bought dividend stocks, and you see how they played out. So as long as you have a goal for yield and stick with it, that's fine. Just, I would not be watching the news and watching the markets and then all of a sudden going from 5 years of not caring about yield to, okay, let me sell out my long-term investments at a young age and then switch it to yield all of a sudden just because I'm doubting the performance of the market. That doesn't make sense. So, but if you start off with a goal with yield and stick to it, that's fine. All of our long terms, we have a goal of yield. That's all I'm saying, is that I just wouldn't flip-flop the priority and then change your plan because you don't see yield when you didn't start off to get yield to begin with. All right. So the SPY calls are going up a little, but like I'm telling you, that's not there. Individuals worked a lot better. We had some individual plays that hit, and those are still hitting. Again, everything. Intel's actually killing it. Intel, defense plays, materials, they're all doing great. No, it's just slow, dude. Compared, again, dude, last week was fast until Friday. And then it just switched gears. But even then, today is kind of slow. But market's holding up. You're back to open. Bonds have given up almost 0.75%. NASDAQ just under 2%. SPY 1.6. NASDAQ or Dow Jones down up 1.3, and then Russell up 1.3. Buy a membership? Oh, I was thinking about it. I was going to tell you guys today, don't buy a membership. You know, I wanted to give it a break. You know, I didn't want to push it. I was feeling very grateful. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll ask him on Monday. But I was like, you know what? I'll just give you guys an opportunity. You don't have to buy a membership. You will if you want to talk, but I'm just not going to ask you to buy one today. You know, I don't want to push it. I don't want to push my luck. Kind of like the stream alerts, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's it. We got to be head on a swivel, bro. Head on a swivel. What up, Isaac? Someone, that I don't know if that counts or not, but you know, I'm not going to tell you to do it, but I appreciate you. Thank you. And spy near the high. I ain't never gonna stop. Stream alerts paid for themselves 10x. Well, please withdraw the money and pay for your stream alerts. Because if I start losing, I don't want you to go out of pocket. But for now, it should have many times over from the beginning of the year. Yeah, make it free, bro. Make it free. Amen. Amen. All about it. All about it. U.S. SEC delays decision on permitting staking in grayscale ETH spot ETFs. Well, nobody did it. See, or Patrick did. I don't know if Patrick counts. He was right before. Thank you, Patrick. Welcome. We might get more velocity after Euro close or once we get policy. So wait till Trump starts talking. Wait till we hear about the materials, and then we hear about the chips and all of that. Am I a car guy? I like cars. They're not bad. They're not bad. ASND, that's a biotech. Then spy near the high, Dollar Tree. I actually need where are they going live with Besant? 4 p.m. Oh, that's today. Nice. Bloomberg has at close. They're talking with Besant. So they have some. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to get a protein too. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. No, we got push-ups in 30 minutes, baby. Be right back. Trump Truth Social on NVIDIA.
To China. So I think you're going to hear a lot on trade this week, specifically when it comes to this administration. Remember, they have 90 days in this pause to try to ink some 70-plus deals.
And Anne-Marie, we only have a minute left with you, but as you mentioned, it seems that Treasury Secretary Besant taking the lead here in these tariff negotiations. Where does that leave Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick? Because wasn't his role designed to be more focused on these trade policies?
Well, I think what the administration
Trump
will tell
just
you
retweeted
is that
on Truth Social.
He
posted an article of NVIDIA
it's going to be Scott Bessent
to manufacture American-made AI supercomputers.
Taking that lead, we have seen Secretary Lutnick sit down with his European counterpart, and we should note yesterday this exemption came out when it comes to smartphone, laptops, electronics. Howard Lutnick went on TV and said, "Well, actually, it's exemption for only right now."
Mexico president says she tasked finance minister to speak to commercial banks to lower interest
and
rates.
that sits squarely in the Commerce Department.
Anne-Marie, great to get some time with you. Really looking forward to this interview. Anne-Marie Jordan there in Buenos Aires. Be sure to catch her exclusive interview with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. That's at 4 p.m. New York time, and it's definitely one you do not want to miss. I imagine it'll be simulcast on radio as well.
I would imagine so, and we'll see if markets hold this rally up into that interview. You can see the S&P 500 close to session highs, up about 1.6%, but we know the day is young, Matt.
All right, coming up tomorrow, Sinead Colton joins us from BNY Mellon. David Costin of Goldman Sachs.
Even a life that's rich with meaning can take an unexpected turn. And when life brings you change, we have over 100 years of navigating market.
Okay. All right, I needed my pro. El Salvador meets with Trump. Is it? Yeah, that should be beginning in 2 minutes. I needed my pro, bro. I needed my pro. Yeah, in 2 minutes it will begin. Nayib Bukele. That's going to be fun. No, the NVIDIA news was positive. I mean, again, they announced some supercomputer stuff this morning. Trump just retweeted that article. Alrighty. There's going to be that. Then we're going to hear about the chips. And then we're going to be hearing about the materials. And then Scott Bessent at 4. Yeah, TLT flipped red after, again, opposite of what it was in the morning. Did a quick 20, baby. Let's go. More of those material plays are going up. MP, 52-week high. Couple of randoms, EA. You still have names going up, but now we kind of just stopped there. Hit literally open second intraday high after the opening, and then that's it. Yeah, Trump is on. He's going to be on in a couple minutes, like in 1 minute. The point is that he's, what's it called? The comments over the weekend were big, and then everybody was kind of confused because they were like, it's a walk back, it's not, it's this, it's that. So we are looking for clarity on that today and whatever he announces, but yeah, he is going to be speaking. Dollar General on the high. XLP, damn, they went up another 0.5% from the AM. And it's only been an hour, or yeah, just under an hour and a half. Another NVIDIA. Nice way to post the play, baby. Let's go. Good luck. Oh, no, you did Netflix earlier. ARAB up 15. Bond just flushed, man. So remember, you're doing a little better, but if the bonds get back to this danger zone, that's what we said on Monday. That's kind of the problem. No news, just the news over the weekend. Kind of walking back things, make it easier on the bond market. But like we said, if the bond market still shows pressure, I don't think we've avoided this scenario just yet. There's still like a really big overhang on what's going on there. AMT on the high, Coca-Cola, HR, more values moving up. Again, you had Mexico shine bomb a second ago. And then now we're waiting for Trump. Again, 8 o'clock is when it was supposed to begin.
Good morning. Welcome to RSBN Live. I'm Matthew Alvarez. Thanks so much for...
Okay, that's one feed, but he's not on there. I don't know, supposed to be there. They have a view of the White House. Oh. Fed March expectations. So Fed New York March year ahead expectations 3.6 versus 3.1, and then 3-year ahead expectations unchanged at 3%. 5-year 2.9 versus 3. No shit. Interesting. And then New York March year ahead home price gains expectations at 3 versus February 3.3. Surveys for food and rent accelerated inflation in March. In March, households are more pessimistic about jobs and future earnings. March expectation unemployment will rise to the highest since April 2020. March households more downbeat on finances, credit access. New York Fed share of households seeing worse financial situation, highest since October 23. Fed in March expectations for stocks to rise at the lowest since June of 2022. But yeah, Fed inflation expectations dropped, but then they feel bad about the economy. Interesting. I think it's crazy that that's at least one gauge that says inflation expectations coming down. That hasn't really been the story. We're going to video 110 call. Good luck. Double dip on the apples. No, not the one from the morning. That was mad cheap. So I just grabbed them just in case it was glitching. Otherwise, I have a really big apple play that we've already been in. That's the one the maze. Trump should be on any second. I have this video. So it actually might take a minute because they're playing this. They're playing the, like, where Nayib is supposed to pull up. But yeah, he's not there on the live feed just yet. Bitcoin Big Red. Listen, you might hear them leak news. Okay, ever since New York Fed, SPY's kind of moving, and then bonds caught a bid after TLT went red. The Fed would respond when something breaks. I mean, clearly they're not. They've already done too much shady shit, like cutting ahead of the election, that I don't think they could act until something breaks. That's why, again, I think it's hilarious. You have a lot of people moving money to other parts of the world, and then if you notice, all these other places around the world, they're talking about cutting rates. But we're the ones who kind of might need it the most, but a lot of hesitancy. But again, Mexico wants to cut rates, Europe, ECB, the UK, all of them. So it's a very interesting dynamic. But generally, I think we'll cut them too late. Something has to break. VIX, lowest since April 4th. The SPY, it could be good for a strangle because the prices are low. But I don't know the... I don't know the... I don't know if it's going to move big or not. That's the problem. Yeah, I think it's going to take a minute, guys. I don't think it's going to... Because if Nayib hasn't pulled up yet, this is going to take a while. Habibi, he is not there. You have to wait. China and Vietnam should strengthen strategic mutual trust. So again, I don't know if that's old or not. Couple developments intraday. I mean, you got to hear from China on Vietnam, and then you just had the New York Fed inflation stuff. So we're moving from here, and then bonds too. Can we sit right here? Did you guys hear that? I know. Unity on the low. SMCI, low ticker starting to pick up a little bit more. I mean, NASDAQ is down 3/4 now, 1.3. We're just at 2. So we're standing outside. All right, that pit's picking up pretty quick. China encourages Chinese firms to invest in Vietnam. That's, again, I think these are new headlines. That's hitting again as well. So you got a couple of things right now in the short term. We're waiting for Trump to go live here with Nayib Bukele. But you literally had New York Fed inflation expectations. Pretty much inflation expectations went lower. Economic prospects went south as well. And then now you also have more comments on this China-Vietnam thing. We got some around here, and then the market went up a little bit. So you're dealing with two things, China as well as a little bit of data. Meanwhile, we are all kind of anticipating and waiting for Trump, which should be right around the corner. Well, remember, Vietnam already agreed to 0. But now China's like, come on, do a deal with us. So I don't know if that's going to muddy the waters or not. And then you're coming back down. I mean, you've been here about 3 or 4 times already. You could not get past the opening of where we gapped up. And remember, it is a gap up. 90 or 80% of the market is still in the green, or most of the names trading. So keep that in mind. Well, yeah, market's waiting for Trump because he's going to confirm stuff. I think the China stuff and the Fed stuff is weird, though, too. They're not as important, but literally you have inflation data, economic data mixed in with China Xi comments right now or within the last 20 minutes. Tesla. IQT, CART on the high. A lot of random names moving. Oil's negative now. Yeah, Bitcoin's still holding. They dropped about, 1,005 from the top? The yen is still up. Not as much. That's weird. Swiss franc is moving up. I'll see if gold. One out of 3 safe havens catching a bid. USAR, that's the metal one. So again, there's a couple of these. There's like TMC, MP, OMEX, and then that's another piece of info we're going to get today. We have not heard from them. USO dying still. Again, oil just flipped negative. It was barely up, and then dancing, and then actually, hold on. I need a sweater. I'm cold.
The context of defense, and that is clearly moving the shares of that defense technology name in this market. Be right back. This is Bloomberg.
Be right back.
To say how the planning is going, but it seems like the White House is waiting for Beijing's call, and so far that hasn't happened. So no talks yet with China, but the administration does emphasize that a lot of other talks are still ongoing, including with Vietnam, at least at sort of the deputy level, not at the presidential level, but among aides. We also know the EU Trade Commissioner is in Washington today for meetings, expecting to potentially get some news on that later as well. So nothing with China, even as they say that they're advancing with something like, I think Peter Navarro said, 90 countries in 90 days. We'll see. We'll have to see how those work out.
All right, Megan, thank you very much for staying on top of it. Megan Casella for us here. Let's bring in UBS Alignment Partners Managing Director, Ali McCartney. Ali, so one thing we've been talking about all morning and really for weeks now is just the level that this uncertainty is having and the impact it's having on CEO decision making. And I'm curious what you're hearing from clients on their decision making, because all of that plays a role into kind of the bottoming out of certain assets. I mean, how are kind of market psychology and all of this uncertainty playing a factor in client behavior?
Yeah, look, I think, no matter who you are, whether you're an asset manager, whether you're at the Fed, whether you're an investment manager or a client, this is a really challenging market to invest in, right? I always look at the fixed income markets first, having been through a number of financial crises, on an over-the-counter Lehman desk many, many years ago. And what you look for is any breakage in the fixed income market. And those are stressed for sure. Or strained but not stressed, but you want to look at those. I think the issue is there is no way right now to have any conviction on an earnings number for this year. And then you add in a multiple
I left the window open. It was like hot in the morning.
Conversation
now it's like freezing.
Is one and the same as is U.S. superiority going to continue? Is there going to be a long-term outflow because of confidence and credibility into other markets? And so right now,
you have a lot of calls.
What I'm hearing from everybody is basically if you're underinvested, you're sort of looking for at what point you have enough confidence to get in. And if you're overinvested, which many people were in a sense because of 2 years of 25% movement up in your equity portfolio than we have been positioning out for a little bit.
Is it possible, do you think, for risk assets to go
Bro,
higher?
they're literally playing this on TV, and it says, likely irreparably damage caused. Oh, then it said, likely rolling recession has already started. So just keep in mind, like I'm telling you, man, this whole week is going to be, because there was good developments over the weekend. Hold on. Japan to add undersea cables and satellites to critical supply list. I don't know if that's what's causing that move, but you just started, low tickers started flushing there, and Tesla. Well, like I'm telling you, just there was some decently good or better developments last week, right? But even though those developments came in, everybody was still doubtful. And now they're going to play this game of, is irreparable damage or not? Oh, that has always been intact from day one till today. Bradley Frizzle and the Peach, baby. Let's go. Or not. Yeah, bro, you got a Japanese headline. So Japan to add undersea cables, satellites, and rockets to list of goods considered critical for country's economic security. Nikkei. So watch some of those rocket companies, but I don't know if that's like big or if it's a dud. And then you got the Peach, baby. Speaking of which, where's Bradley Frizzle and Boeing? Oh, they're chilling. They're chilling, baby. Happy Monday. Ho ho. You took a Boeing call earlier. That's good. It's good to talk about Boeing with the Peach. It's been profitable this year. Peach and Boeing, I mean, can't complain. Just can't complain, baby. All right. But again, you got those Japanese headlines. Other than that, though, we're kind of, you hit that level and then whoop, right back down. I think we're still below the bigger one. Yeah, I mean, you're moving really, really low. If those calls come back, if they go down to that 30 cents, take them. Or I'm going to be down too. Ooh, they did. See, isn't that, imagine, bro, it's been less than an hour. So perfect. Perfect. How much of this is biased or based on news? I mean, all of it as of late. I don't know about like right now, but I mean, technically the last couple of weeks, it's just all been driven off of trade news. Intel said to receive cash from Silver Lake. What? They already got the money? All right, well, Intel's coming down, but they said they got the money. And then Thermo Fisher on the high, SPY going down. Again, a couple of things developed here. You had the China headline, and then you had the Japanese headline. I think there was one more. And then literally, we're literally waiting for Trump right now. Again, they are, oh, is that Nayeb? Yeah. I think Nayeb just walked in, so he might be on sooner than later. I'm trying to hear him. Yeah, but I think Nayeb already walked in. They were already throwing up their phones and shit. ALGM, MP on the high. Dude, those material plays keep going. Again, MP is like the real winner out of all of them. And then Tesla is lower. Tesla just flipped red. They were green earlier. AREC, yeah, that's a material play too. Yeah, Silver Lake paid $3.4 billion in cash for Intel's Altera stake. Reports Intel has already received the cash. Trump is expected to talk with Nayib Bukele. Then he's expected to talk about the trade with the trade exemption with the chips. And then we are supposed to hear one more thing. I forgot what it was.
Yeah.
Wait, which? Oh, yeah, chips. Oh, the materials, the ocean materials. And that is your schedule. Anything else, we'll take it as it comes. Should traders target 10% gains or 2? I have no idea. I've never traded like that in my life. I'll take 10% sometimes just when I'm moving around on the dailies, but I'm not operating off of any rule like that. Yen is moving too. Who? Okay, I think somebody's pulling up. Again, this is the guy Naib is going to be meeting with Trump. Tariff concerns have Canadians pulling away from property market.
Ready? Post. Ready? Post. Post. Ready? One.
Well, right now with Naib, I have no idea what he's going to talk about, but I'm waiting. I want to hear about the chips. Everybody wants to hear that, and then these material plays are just running crazy. All right. I grabbed one play. I still think things can move from here, but a lot of premium decay has already occurred now. So, like, straight up, by doing this little drop and pop, they've wiped some calls now by 70%. Even some of the puts are a little cheaper. So, straddles aren't bad or strangles, but you just got to get the right price. Again, we don't know if we're going to move. The chip stuff might be later, so this, even what we're waiting for now, this might even be a disappointment. It was supposed to start at 8. We're already about 22 minutes. I don't even know if Homeboy has even gotten to the White House yet. Let's see, and then Tessie. I liked the NVIDIAs too, but they just held up. And then Apple, that's it. Apple sold off 4 from the open. Blech. Okay, high tickers started to move a little bit. ADM on the high. That one's interesting. Food. I mean, TSN. He doesn't come on till 1. I think he'll come on before, but I think one of them might be a little later. We'll see. Be on the lookout, too, for any rumors. Remember, any sort of good trade deal or any data of that. I'm sure markets are going to keep their ears peeled. More banks. Yo, Morgan Stanley. That's a weird one. That's either like just random post-earnings sell with the rest of the banks, or that's news. But yeah, Morgan Stanley, $1 into the low. All right, see what happens here. Because if you flush here to a new low, that'll actually be the first new low of the day. I mean, you haven't really broke out of this intraday range. And then premiums will take another hit, but you haven't gone below 54.11. Just hugging it. And then NASDAQ right at 19,000 on the futures. I kind of like this background noise. Is that weird? I feel like I'm at the White House. Fang again. Watch banks. See if they keep selling. Yeah, XLF still green. Goldman, that was the big winner on banks today. It does kind of sound like an airplane. From the Intels. Alrighty, get ready. So see, if that flushes here again, the gap fill is going to be on watch. If not, then that's it. You're just going to hold this awkward waiting zone. This is E-Trade Pro. And this one is Thinkorswim. Okay, going a little lower now. Tesla flushing, too. That's done that twice, actually. So it did it here on, like, one of the first ones, but then it flushed into the low. And then now that second one you broke down, and then now this one, too. But, yeah, Tesla is starting to give up a little bit more ahead of time. Webull options, it'll probably be a couple of days. After you get, like, enough liquidity, the options market, they'll add a chain. But for now, it's a SPAC. Company's brand new on the market, so it may take a little bit. Okay, Tesla, man, bigger candles. And then Micron, too. Remember, Dell, Micron, all those chips in the morning. They still got a fat gain like Apple, but they've given up a lot. And then SPY trying to go lower, but it hasn't broken yet. And then Nat Gas is moving as well, too, to the low. 5416. Again, I think it's 5411. Yeah, 5-4-11, 4 points away. That will be the low of the day. Start recording now. Okay, look. Volatility picking up. The VIX, the Qs, all of the inverses are starting to move up. You haven't hit the low yet, though. You're not at the, again, 50 whatever 11. Is it 54.11? Yeah, 5412. You're almost there. NASDAQ below 19,000 on the futures. Again, NASDAQ only up by 1% now. Russell and Dow about 0.3 or 0.7, 3/4. All right, a little lower. 507 now. You sold off 5 points after breaking it. I think gap fill now, sadly. Watch out, though. So it's either this pulls back right away and, like, you like flirt with 5,400. Otherwise, if this can't hold 5,400, then you're going to probably go to 53, 55. Yeah. So now those plays, they hit the sweet spot, but now, like I'm saying, you either can take them or you wait as we play around here, because if this doesn't hold 5,400, I think you could drop another 40 points. So, again, that's that gap fill. Otherwise, though, that's telling you you could make a decent play right now. But, again, volatility all picked up, success on the low. The thing that sucks is that the chips are still green. So, again, go look at the inverse on the chips. They're all coming down, but they've given up about like 5 out of 7%, depending on where they opened up in the morning. Oh, yeah, the yen. That's another one. And salute. All right, still a little lower. Watch out for gap fill. Again, now Nayab is over there. That has to be him. I think it's somebody else.
Ready two, ready doors, ready pop, ready open. Ready close, ready shut, ready face.
President Trump, your message to Christians during this Holy Week, sir. The start of
Oh,
Holy
shit,
Week.
it's Trump. Yeah, there they are. All right. So watch, you're getting volume. Like I said, this is kind of a make it or break it point, you guys. It's either you bounce off this shit and then you just hold the range. Otherwise, this doesn't hold, and then you got to fill the gap before we start bouncing.
Sorry, I thought we had room. I apologize. I was trying to have one on one side, one on the other, and I was like, okay, I'll be seeing you later at 1:45.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it? What was that? All right. So now you wait till... Oh, come on. So, yeah, that was supposed to start like 30 minutes ago, but now they just pulled up to the White House, and then it's going to start. Europe is closed now, yeah. So I just put out a stream alert. Like I said, that sweet spot play is exactly at the price. You either die from here and we go down 40, or that was it. And then we see until we get a headline. But I'd watch chips, outsized effect there. Keep an eye on the banks as well, too. And then other than that, man, welcome to Euro Close. Stand up and get a push-up in, and then Donald Trump will be live very shortly with an asterisk. That could mean either in 30 minutes or like 3 hours. So I don't know. Either way, we'll be here. No, Europe is closed now. Remember, they had daylight savings. So we're back to the normal schedule. Not bad, though. Not bad. All right. They're holding, though. I want to see if the plays actually move, though. So, again, the range today, it's still light, you guys. Now, this, after breaking down, that widened it up a little bit. I mean, 10 points on the SPY, but still, compared to the speed of last week, I mean, you're still starting off really, really gradual. Bull! We bull! Look at that, you guys. Your social securities are heavily monetizable. What? Is that a weekly? It's the earlier play, so whatever was posted up on there. Subbing squats? Yeah, do whatever. Oh, yeah, I need to get I'm doing hips today. But yes. Whichever you do, man. All you got to do is just move around. That's it. And whatever, every hour, man, some things, if you need to do abs, do abs. You got to do back, do back. Oh. I'm going to do resistances, and then I'm going to move to the hip workouts. Trump and Bukele are walking around on Bukele's live Twitter. Oh, he has a live feed? Yeah, Bukele got the exclusive? What? Oh, man. All right, see if that holds. Again, if this doesn't hold, I mean, you are getting Euro close. It's either going to... Remember on Friday, we had like a pretty decent run and then didn't look back. But I do think you're in between like a weird gap fill and not. But then again, we're still waiting on all of this Trump chip news from the weekend. Whew. All right. Let's see any other currencies. Gold stopped moving. Again, the yen got a bid. The Swiss franc all day. That's why I said 1 out of 3. 1 out of 3 safe havens. Oh, humble business. Shukran, Habibi. Happy Monday. Wake them up a little bit. Hopefully, you guys did your push-ups too. Relax your eyeballs. Stare away. I see. I got a couple sets in. I can't find my other resistance. The one with the loop. I go not find the loop one, Habibi. Why they do this? Yeah, bro. I think I'm missing one, man. Yeah, man. I'm out. It's Trump, Bukele, Rubio, and Vance. All right, we'll see if that goes lower. I'll see if I can find that one. UVXYs did 100%. Really? On the bid? Fayab. Oh my gosh, bro, it's live. Yeah, I have it.
Whoever does that does a great job.
Oh, we have a team, yeah.
Yeah, I got it live, bro.
Can I use them?
Yes.
The audio's fucked, but this is live.
Even the sound, you know, the whole deal. It's very good.
It's like a movie. It's a movie. It's a soundtrack, but it's real. And
Cecil B. DeMille. You ever hear of Cecil B. DeMille? Great movie. The great movie, the greatest of them all. But no, it's really unique. And I would say Marco has a big impact.
yes.
It's all over. It's being played all over the world. Because they want to stop crime. They want to stop crime. Let's see what stop crime.
It's the only way.
Let them in, please.
It's the only way.
So you're just going to have a small group, a small gathering of journalists.
So we're nice.
They've got it.
Yeah, watch out. I already repositioned one. But we have this live. Listen. I don't know what they're saying, but yeah. I can't hear it.
With you have like one guy, hello. Really good.
Visit a la Casa Blanca.
Careful. Watch the oval. Watch the oval office. Watch the resolute desk. We don't want it. We just sent it down first. No. We don't need cameras in. That sounded like a pretty bad crash. See a broken desk. Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to have a friend of mine because we went through this together and got along very well for my entire period of time. So I knew him as a very young man. Now he's just a young man, and he's done a fantastic job. Mr. President, it's an honor to have you.
Thank you.
You're doing incredibly for your country, and we appreciate working with you because you want to stop crime, and so do we. And it's very, very effective. And I want to just say hello to the people of El Salvador and say they have one hell of a president. Okay, and I mean that, and I know him well. I know him as a very young man, Marco, even younger than you. You know, he started pretty young.
He'll always be younger.
Young at heart. But I want to thank you for the great job you're doing. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Well, it's an honor.
Okay, yeah, this is playing everywhere else now, too.
We're very happy, and we're very eager to help. We know that you have a crime problem, a terrorism problem that you need help with. And we're a small country, but if we can help, we will do it. And we actually turned the murder capital of the world, that was the journalists call it, right? Murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere. And, you know, sometimes they say that we imprison thousands. I like to say that we actually liberated millions. So, you know, like, it's very good.
Okay, calm down.
Do you think I can use that?
In fact, Mr. President, you have 350 million people to liberate. But to liberate 350 million people, you have to imprison some. You know, that's the way it works, right? You cannot just, you know, free the criminals and think crime is going to go down magically. You have to imprison them so you can liberate 350 million Americans that are asking for the end of crime and the end of terrorism. And it can be done. I mean, you're doing it already. And I'm sure that people have seen the change in the streets. A long way to go because you're just initiating your second term.
Again, bro, we just started dumping. They haven't said anything. But I think the fact that it started off with a lack of econ, market just started dumping.
From the work you're doing. So I'm really happy to be here, honored, and eager to help.
Well, we had a terrible thing happen. We had an administration that allowed people to come in freely into our country from not only South America, but from all over the world, many from the Congo in Africa. Asia, all over the world, Europe, rough parts of Europe, and they came from prisons, and they came from mental institutions.
This audio is so bad.
Gangs and the gangs of Venezuela and other places, and hundreds of thousands and even millions of them came. 21 million people altogether, but many of the people that came, just a tremendous percentage of them were criminals, in some cases violent criminals. We had 11,088 known murderers. Half of them murdered more than one person. This was allowed by a man who, what he did to our country is just unbelievable. So we're straightening it out, we're getting them out. But what they did and what that party did to our country, open borders, anybody could come in. As soon as I heard that, I said, every prison is going to be emptied out into our country. That's what happened. And we're straightening it out. And we just had numbers. We had the highest recruiting numbers in the history of our country going into police departments. And a year ago, we had the lowest numbers. You couldn't hire a
biggest change.
Yeah. Nobody's
From
ever
the lowest to the highest.
And the military now, Marines, the Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, every slot is, I mean, we have the best numbers we've ever had. We call it recruitment numbers. And we've never had anything like it. We had
you still got another 20 points.
at every single level. But very important, the policemen. The policemen are joining forces now that we really were having a hard time with policemen because we weren't protecting our police. Yeah. And we cherish our police. The police are great, and the firemen and everybody else. But we have the highest numbers that we've ever had, the most enthusiasm. Great enthusiasm on trade and other things. We're doing great. We're taking in billions and billions of dollars. We made, 2 weeks ago, I gave them a little bit of a pause because, you know, you have to show a little flexibility. We go back.
Show a little
The
flexibility.
markets have been very strong once they got used to it. But we were losing $2 billion a day. There's no company that's big like this. This is the biggest deal ever made. Now we're making $3 billion a day. We're a great country, but we had stupid people running this country, and I can say it. But what they've done to us at the border should never and can never be forgotten. It's a sin, what they did, and you are helping us out, and we appreciate it. Thanks.
Damn it, I whiffed.
Actually, what you're doing with the border is remarkable. It has dropped, 95%? It's incredible.
Okay. As of this morning, 99%, 99.1% to be exact.
Why are those numbers not in the media?
Well, they get out with the fake news, you know, like CNN.
Yeah, those one calls didn't move up as
much.
So I'm watching, I'm waiting.
Good numbers, they don't like putting out.
Because the calls declined a little bit, but the out the monies, they're moving around weird, but they didn't really catch much on that. Why is this production quality so good? What the fuck is this?
I mean, it's crazy, right?
We're doing
It's a crazy turnaround.
Christy, could you maybe say a couple of words about the border, how we're doing?
You know, it's just been absolutely phenomenal what a great leader can do. Clear direction, our laws matter. We should only have people in our country that love us, and the Border Patrol and our ICE officers and law enforcement officers have done fantastic work. So we're proud of them. Now we just need to get the criminals and murderers and rapists and dangerous gang members and terrorist organizations out of our country. So, Mr. President Bukele, we thank you very much for your partnership. It has been wonderful for us to be able to have somewhere to send the worst of the worst and someone to partner with. And we'd like to continue that partnership because it's been a powerful message of consequences. Mr. President, you wanted people to know that there was consequences if you break our laws and harm our people and endanger families. And this is a clear consequence for the worst of the worst that we have somewhere to put them.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we even had this gang member from Venezuela, one of the ones you sent, and we interviewed him just, to get some information, etc. from them. And he said, I got arrested 6 times, but they released me the 6th time, so I should be released again. And then he said, well, what's the last thing you do? And he said, well, I shot a cop in the leg, but I didn't kill him. I just shot him in the leg. And we're like, this guy was arrested.
Yeah,
6
LVMH
times.
earnings just came out. Watch some of the, what's it called? Watch some of the, what's it called?
The last time he was sent to El Salvador, right? So he's not getting
How you
released,
say?
But the last time he shot a cop, actually, and he shot him in the leg.
Watch the, Clothing companies.
Like you said, there's something broken.
The liberal establishment, but they're not running things anymore in this country, and we're run by, and I don't say conservative, I don't say anything, we're run by people with great common sense.
Yeah, common sense.
Because it's all common sense. Yeah. It's not liberal conservative, it's common sense.
Exactly.
Like, do you allow men to play in women's sports? Do you allow men to box your women?
So again, this little speech. They've only talked about crime reform. They've not discussed anything else.
So
they wanted gym discussion or any of
We
that.
have people that fight to the death because they think men should be able to play in women's sports, and some of those sports it wouldn't matter much, but it still matters. But some of them are very dangerous for women.
Some years ago, like I said, a decade ago or so, women rights movements were pressuring so that we enacted specific laws to avoid men abusing women. And I think those laws were great because there were a lot of men abusing women. But now some of the same people are trying to backtrack and actually trying to make new laws allowing men to abuse women in sports. So actually that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
You know, they have weightlifting records, right?
Yeah.
A woman gets up this way, she's incredible. A guy gets up and beats her by 100 pounds. What are you going to do? A record that hadn't been broken in 18 years. You know, they put on an ounce and an ounce, quarter of an ounce, eighth of an ounce for 18 years. Now they have a guy come up, ping. The whole thing is crazy. But they continue to fight. And I don't like talking about it because I want to save it for just before the next election. I said to my people, don't even talk about it because they'll change. And but I watched this morning. There was a congressman fighting to the death for men to play against women in sports. And
Mr. Hanlon.
Why? What are they doing? What are they doing?
Okay, do we fill the gap?
Too big in that.
No, of course not.
10 points away.
Protecting women.
Good. Yeah. It's a very important form of protection, too.
And as you can see, most of my cabinet are women, so...
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And that's why you
And
run.
they're not DEI hires or anything. They're just great at what they do. Right?
That's right. This is very impressive. This is a first. We've had women, but we've never had three of them right here.
4 and 3 men.
Look at what we have. You guys feel a little bit mistreated? That's good. I like it. We've been advanced. I've been very advanced in that regard, too. We have Pam, who's been so fantastic.
And Christy.
And the most powerful woman they say.
I know, exactly. They're all afraid of her.
Susie Wells. They say, oh, she's tough. Most powerful woman in the world, according to magazines. What do I know? But I think she probably is.
What do I know?
She probably is.
Congratulations.
And you know Stephen, who's done such a great job.
Yes, thank you, sir.
We have great people.
He's very famous too.
But we love working with him. He really lets them have it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no games.
No. It's very good.
He knows. Do you have any questions, please?
President Trump.
Go. Let's not start with CNN because they're just so wrong. Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. You repeatedly mentioned last night that Russia's attack on Ukraine was a mistake. What is the exact mistake? And had you given Putin a deadline to actually move toward a ceasefire?
The mistake was letting the war happen. If Biden were competent, and if Zelensky were competent, and I don't know that he is. We had a rough session with this guy over here. He just kept asking for more and more. That war should have never been allowed to happen. That war, I went 4 years and Putin wouldn't even bring it up. And as soon as the election was rigged and I wasn't here, that war started. There was no way that war should have been allowed to happen. And Biden should have stopped it. And you take a look at Putin. I'm not saying anybody's an angel. But I will tell you, I went 4 years and it wasn't even a question. He would never, and I told him, don't do it. You're not going to do it. And it was the apple of his eye, but there was no way that he would have done it. All you had to do is lower oil prices. If you lowered oil prices, Biden kept the prices so high because he made it impossible to get it. If you lowered oil prices, you wouldn't have had the war. But you wouldn't have had it with me anyway. That war would have never happened. And I think it's a great abuse. So now what do? You get a country where 25% of its land is gone, and the best locations, where millions of people are killed. You know, you haven't reported accurately the death And this was Biden's war, and I'm trying to stop it. And I think we're going to do a good job. I hope we're going to do it. They lose 2,500 young people a week, think on average. Now they're Russians and they're Ukrainians, but it's 2,000. We don't care.
Yeah, NASDAQ already read. Russell 0.38. So SPY's about to fill the gap. You got a 0.1%.
It's a killing field. It's like
man, they rocketed those puts one more 10%. Bruh.
This should not be happening in our time. Of course, our time can be pretty violent, as we know. But that's a war that should have never been allowed to start. And Biden could have stopped it, and Zelensky could have stopped it, and Putin should have never started it. Everybody's to blame.
He hasn't said anything, no. I think we're going down on the fact he hasn't said anything.
Oh, I don't know. He's always looking to...
So I think everybody wanted to hear about the chip delay, and Trump added that, but like literally right when this started and we didn't hear about it, we just started dumping, and then there was that China-Vietnam thing.
I hope that people give
But other than that, he hasn't said anything. We're just kind of all jumpy.
What we gave, remember, I gave them javelins. That's how they won their first big battle with the tanks that got stuck in the mud. And they took them out with javelins. They have an expression that Obama at the time, Obama gave them sheets and Trump gave them javelins. But just something that should have never happened. It's a really shame. The towns are destroyed. Towns and cities are, largely destroyed. They have the spires, the beautiful spires that go up. They say that we're the most beautiful in the world in Ukraine for whatever reason, but the most beautiful in the world. They're mostly laying on their side, shattered and broken. And most importantly, you have millions of people dead. Millions of people dead because of...
Oh, where is it?
3 people. I would say 3 people. Let's say Putin, number 1. But let's say Biden, who had no idea what the hell he was doing, number 2, and Zelensky. And all I can do is try and stop it. That's all I want to do. I want to stop the killing. And I think we're doing well in that regard. I think you'll have some very good proposals very soon.
Last question, sir. Have you attributed a motive through the FBI investigation behind the attack on Governor Josh Shapiro over the weekend?
No, I haven't, but the attacker was not a fan of Trump, I understand, just from what I read and from what I've been told. The attacker basically wasn't a fan of anybody. It's probably just a whack job, and certainly a thing like that cannot be allowed to happen.
Good relation with President Bukele, the best guarantee that this time you won't terminate the temporary...
I have a great relationship with this man. I have the best relationship with him. We've known each other. I've known him since he was a very young man, as I said, very, very young, and I was impressed. I said, look at this guy is, in fact, you sort of look like a teenager. You look like a teenager. I said,
I don't know if that's good or bad, Mr. President.
No, bro, the premium. So literally, what's going on with the premiums? Like the puts will randomly go because you dropped enough, but then on the calls, they are not dropping, and then on the pops, they're not going up. So just be careful, but we don't have any headlines right now. That's it. So we're still just moving, but this is nothing. And, like, you're not getting, like, people chasing after a headline. And then, yeah, the premiums are still kind of just moving a little slow. So keep that in mind. But
and foremost,
we've been dropping this whole time.
In our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, 2 courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs. If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
So will you return him, President Bukele?
You are doing a great job.
Thank you, President.
Stephen Miller, wait a minute. Could you just also respond to that question? Because, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant. because they're totally slanted because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As two immigration courts,
this guy is so serious, bro. Always. It's always this guy. But look, if you bought a call from like the bottom, I even went closer to the money and I found a good play. It only went up 3%. So I just caught a $2 move out of the money. It's still out of the money. That's why. But it only went up 2%. So be careful.
In the United States, and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was managed by a district court judge.
I feel like this is how a lot of you guys wish you sounded when you try to correct me. You know, when I'm telling you like tariffs are deflationary, you guys like turn into this guy, but like the liberal version. And I'm like, you think you sound like him, huh? Because I see what you're going for. It's this. This is the image you have in your mind. Because I can see why you would want to do, because this guy's, man, every time we see him, bro, he always just... Hello, I'm so serious. And I'm at 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan to ask for help to get him back?
His voice is rude.
Was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve, was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0.
In our favor?
In our favor, against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the
This guy just follows Trump around, and then Trump's like, can I say that? Is that true? And he's like, well, technically you can, Donald. And you have this sole discretion to do such things, Mr. President.
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here, because he is a citizen of
Look
El
at perfect
Salvador.
posture and
That is the
everything,
president of
too.
El Salvador. Your questions about it, per the court, can only be directed to him.
I asked President Bukele, what
Look at it, he's like, facts.
Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to be suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right?
It's always
Hey, yo, GM dropping. Okay, honestly, bro, that was a good bottom tick on calls, but they didn't. That was shit.
It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
So you could release him inside El Salvador?
Yeah, but I'm not releasing, I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world to the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? And that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into our
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Marco, do you have something to say about
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin. Except for Venezuela, that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court held, by the way, to Marco's point. The Supreme Court said exactly what Marco said, that no court has the authority to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. We won a case 9-0, and people like CNN are portraying it as a loss, as usual, because they want foreign terrorists in the country who kidnap women and children. But President Trump, his policy is foreign terrorists that are here illegally get expelled from the country, which, by the way, is a 90-10 issue.
Well, the president,
It does, bro. This sounds and feels like a TV show. Something about the view and then the the camera angles.
Why don't you just say, isn't it wonderful that we're keeping criminals out of our country? Why can't you just say that?
Well, it's illegal.
Why do you go over and over, and that's why nobody watches you anymore. You have no credibility. Please go ahead.
President Trump, thank you so much.
You guys know I've sold more memberships than Don Lemon and CNN. So thank you guys for supporting. Okay, now I won't ask you to buy a membership, but just know, brought to you like people like you, man, like PBS.
Complex that he built, jail complex. I said, can you build some more of them, please? As many as we can get out of our country that were allowed in here by incompetent Joe Biden through open borders. Open borders. You probably hear open borders and you can't even understand it because nobody can understand.
Look at
Nobody
these camera
smart
angles,
or with
dude.
common sense
The
can
cameraman
understand.
just filming the camera through the camera.
We have
Oh,
millions
James
of people that
Gunn!
should not be in this country that are dangerous. Not just
Woo!
people, because we have people.
Let's go,
but we
baby.
have millions
That's
of
word to
people
the
that
members,
are
baby.
Murderers, drug dealers.
Let's go.
They've been allowed to
my
come into
pleasure,
our
my
country
friends.
by other countries.
You
that
have
were
no
very
idea.
smart. When they're at this very low
I swear,
IQ
the other
exam.
news, they do it
And by
because
the
they
way, I
hate
took
you.
my
I just do it because I love it.
exam as part of my physical exam, and I got the
I hope that's
highest
not
mark,
true,
and one of
but
the
that is
doctors
the
said, "Sir,
impression
I've never
they
seen
give
anybody
off
get
sometimes.
that was the highest mark. I hope you're happy with that. Although they haven't been bugging me too much to take a cognitive, but I did do my physical and it was released. I hope you're all happy with it. I notice there's no question, so probably you are. But the cognitive, they said to me, "Sir, would you like to take a cognitive test?" I said, "Did Biden take one?"
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at your
Anybody
chat
take
facts.
one? No, not too many
Why are you
people.
retracting your message? I was already laughing at your shit. This guy lives in San Francisco and he's calling me gay, and his name is Esports.
Let me be the only
No,
one
it's not a
to
lie. I have sold
I've
more
actually
$5
taken them 3
memberships than
times already. I like taking them
CNN. That's
because
why
it's
CNN Plus had to go
too
under.
tough for me to take.
But yeah, bro, why are you
But
retracting your
We had a
messages?
great
Don't be
physical
scared.
exam, so I know you're gonna ask
Come
that.
on, say it with
And
your
the
chest,
doctors,
dog.
total
Oh, you
professionals.
can't anymore. You're banned. Too bad. Too bad. Oh, they cut my audio now. Okay, we're back. Too bad. Too bad.
Lost his leg.
Oh, he gets mad. He got mad at Josh. I'm gonna go after Josh. That's a lie, Josh. You don't sell that much. Look at it. I just sold fucking 12 of them, dog. The fuck? He calling me a liar? That's
But they took
crazy.
a full physical and it came out.
That's crazy.
Perfecto. So that's good. She's got me for a little longer.
You don't try to retract it. It's too late. So I said the other day, I was like, if you guys want to burn a bridge with me, be my guest. I don't mind at all. I think it's funny. But if you're going to get like hella sensitive over something and then like try to talk shit, just don't be surprised. I'm just saying, that's your bridge to burn, okay?
We also have
But yeah, I don't
homegrown
fuck with you now
criminals that
forever.
Push people into subways that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking. That
Excuse
are
me?
absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
How essential is it for you guys to be locking up these prisoners? And do you think more presidents should follow suit like you guys as far as taking a hard stance on crime here in the United States?
Well, I do. I think everybody.
Ray! Ah, the
Presidents
bad
are better
waiter!
than anybody.
Let's go, baby. And I
Liberty, and you have liberty, but to have liberty, you're gonna.
Amen.
Not everybody is gonna
Amen.
be good. And you know, some are bad because they're sick. They're mentally deranged. They're bad.
Why do you?
Then you have to take them. If you're gonna have a country.
No, I love it, bro. You
take
have no
those people
idea.
out.
I mean, think about it. In the last 5
been
years,
doing
I would
that.
never tell you guys
this
how
was
much
like an
money I
unforced
made.
error, they
I
would
didn't
call
really
it,
make money off
where
YouTube.
we had
And then all you
people
haters, you motivated
that
me a
may hate our
lot.
country, or maybe
And now
they're
by
just
limiting
stupid
you
people. I think
guys,
they're
you guys have
probably
made me
stupid
really
people
rich.
myself.
So thank you. Richer.
they-
But I
a lot of people
appreciate
said
it.
they
Yeah,
did it
no,
for
for
the
real.
vote.
We're doing a lot of
But I
great
did better
things.
with
And
Hispanic
at the
people
end of the
than
day,
they did,
though,
because they was just
the
Hispanic. I did better.
monetization gift,
Give people love.
I will
So,
shake
my
a
phone
hater's
numbers
hand,
in
bro.
your
They helped me out.
country are through the roof,
So
like
thank you for
91%.
pushing me.
No, they. Some people think they do it for the vote, but they don't have to do it for the vote. They cheat.
Why no one's I bet you they let him in here and they said, you can't ask about the chips.
we
Because
just
no one,
have
I'm
had a
surprised
great
none of these
relationship,
questions
and
have had to do with
it's
it.
become bigger because of a strange thing that happened. You know, I came back. We had no war in Ukraine. We had no war with. We had no October 7th Middle East problem. We had nothing. We had no inflation.
We did not fill the
We didn't have
gap. We're like right
Afghanistan,
there,
most
10 points
embarrassing
away, a
moment
little
in
less.
the history of our country, the Afghanistan, not withdrawing because I would have been, you know, I had it all set to bring people out with dignity and pride. That was the worst, most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan. We didn't have any of that. You wouldn't have had the war with Russia, Ukraine. You wouldn't have had the Middle East problem because Iran was broke. They had no money.
I like
We had
Nayyib. I
secondary
like
sanctions
Nayyib a
on them,
lot.
Lots of other sanctions.
I think guys like
And
Nayyib,
now
I mean,
every single
there's
thing,
some stuff
the
I
problem
think
with
is
Iran,
questionable, like
I'll
human
solve that
rights,
problem.
but
That's
other
almost
than
an
that,
easy one.
I mean,
We got to solve a
nothing
war
I like
that's
seeing
another
more
starving
than young
Ukraine,
guys in positions
Russia,
of power with
and
common
we'll get that
sense.
solved.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of
We
his.
have to solve problems.
He's a
And
good
we've already
dictator, yeah.
solved inflation. You know, if you look at the numbers are incredible, actually.
I think he's even said
Stock
that.
market's up. And we're not letting other countries take advantage of this country like they have for the last 40 years. So thank you very much. You have a question, please?
Mr. President, thank you so much. You scored another major investment win this morning when NVIDIA pledged to build its AI supercomputer.
Criminals should have no human rights. Yeah, that's not how human rights works. Do you guys know that? That's why it's called human rights. Because you get them because you're a human. Do you see the point?
Biggest announcements you'll ever hear.
He's like, well, I don't think criminals deserve human rights. Well, that's the point, sir. Because if someone just says you're a criminal, then you're in a big problem now. Because, yeah, that's not...
They're the biggest.
Oh, it is a video
The
question.
other biggest we already have coming in and spending $300 billion, as you know. They announced 2 weeks ago. But NVIDIA is so
It's about to be
highly
a dud.
respected. And this was an announcement that a lot of people, I knew it was going to happen, but not to the extent that it happened. It's big. And the reason they did it is because of the election on November 5th and because of a thing called tariffs, as I say, the most beautiful word in the dictionary. After love, God.
Bro, look, that
relationship.
declined the puts.
The press actually hit me. I said, tariff is the most beautiful word in the dictionary.
Yeah, guys, be
What
careful.
about
Literally,
family,
puts are
love,
20%
God?
cheaper.
I got hit even on
Calls
that.
are just sitting at break even now,
So
5% lower.
Most favorite.
So literally, calls and puts are just getting slashed on this move.
But
unless you're near the money and you get in dollar for
NVIDIA,
dollar.
It's one of the great companies of the world.
So he said
modern,
that
super
NVIDIA
modern
came because of
companies,
election and
controls
tariffs.
segments that nobody, sort of controls the world in a sense, and they're coming in here in the biggest way with hundreds of billions of dollars. Not like millions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, and I'm honored by it. And I want to thank Jensen.
I don't know why they're getting slashed. I called out. Remember, if you have the stream alerts, there's a put that I put to watch. That one went up like 10, 20%, but now it's down. So even though the stock is near the low, the SPY, those puts are they're off the high, and then the calls are still down just from whatever they got slashed.
Well, I already have sanctions on Russia.
New York lawsuit versus
If you
ML.
remember,
I'll throw
Nord
that
Stream
up.
2, that's the big pipeline that goes through Europe.
Money Lion, yeah, they got a big red.
That's Russia's pipeline, the largest pipeline, I think, in the world. Goes to Germany.
Close
And
to
I
the money
stopped
is holding. You have to be like
And
near the
when
money.
Biden
That's
came
fine.
in,
But out of the monies don't hit today.
And then they said,
None of them
"Oh,
are
I'm
working.
friendly with Russia." No. Putin said, if you're my friend, I'd hate to see you when you're my enemy. I stopped the biggest economic job they ever had. I stopped it cold, right? It was dead. You know that, right? And Biden came in and he immediately approved it. What was that all about? And it's a pipeline that takes care of a lot of the needs. Now, it was a very controversial thing, but I stopped it, and Biden approved it. Question?
On tariffs,
No,
do
not
have
you.
update-
Not
Today
you.
on semiconductor tariffs and potentially pharmaceuticals.
What?
Semiconductor tariffs and potentially pharmaceuticals.
Pharmaceuticals we're going to do. We don't make our own drugs, our own pharmaceuticals.
Okay,
we don't make
pharma.
our own drugs anymore. The
Not
drug
you.
companies are in Ireland and they're in lots of other places, China. And all I have to do is impose a tariff. The more, the
Okay,
faster
going
the
lower
higher
now. The calls are still
tariff.
break even, 5%.
inversely
The puts
proportional.
the
higher
puts are going
tariff,
back up
the
again,
faster
but they were
come.
higher earlier.
And,
Out of the money, near
no,
the
we're
money's
gonna do that.
working.
That's going to be like we have on
Trump
cars.
says
We
we'll do
have a
tariffs on
25%
imported
tariff on
pharma.
cars.
So you're
We have a
reacting to that.
25% tariff on steel
Okay,
and
listen.
aluminum, and that's what that category fits right now.
Do you have a percentage in mind and a timeline?
I have a timeline, not too distant future. We're doing it because we want to make our own drugs. We're doing it because we want to make our own steel and aluminum, lumber, other things. And they're all coming in. We have record numbers, $7 trillion.
ML's in a buyout?
Since
Oh,
I
that's probably why
announced-
it's just going back up. Okay, you're flushing pharma tariffs. I mean, it's not new. This is your third time reacting to it, but market's taking it lower. So again, you've seen this before.
$1 trillion. We didn't have $500 billion.
It's not too distant. So again, we're reacting to the pharma reality now.
That we've ever heard of, and we're only 2 months in. And that'll continue at levels that you've never seen before. It's what's going to happen. And even the stock market's up today. It's
not anymore, sir.
You know, a lot of people didn't in history won every single category last week. And that was a nice game because we're getting Lily. Because people didn't understand the power of our economic, our country economically, if you use it right. Do you have something?
Bro, those
to say,
calls
Jay?
only dropped another
Yes, sir.
10%,
For
and then
40
the puts
years, we
have
have
got back
lost
to their previous high.
capacity. Workers are seeing their wages
Very weird.
stagnate, and some of the most critical things that we need.
But again, you reacted on that pharma headline, even though it's not new. We've heard that several times. It's kind of like some of the China
weapons
shit.
that we actually need to fight a war. If God forbid we had to fight a war, we don't make enough of that stuff. And so President Trump ran explicitly on changing that. Yes,
Okay,
as
gap
the
has been
president, it
filled.
caused a little bit of disruption in the market, but I think over the long term, workers are going to benefit, stocks are going to go up, American businesses are going to benefit as we reinvest and reindustrialize our country.
And the auto workers and the Teamsters and all of the unions, you know, not traditionally Republican, but I'm winning those unions by, we're up 40, 50 points on the Democrats. They're losing everything. They're losing everything because they just have policies that are not believable. They fight for policies that are 5% popular, and nobody knows who the 5% are. I mean, nobody can find the 5%. But if you go back to Ohio, and by the way, we have the great championship team from Ohio coming in today.
Okay, see if
right?
calls move up on this.
And that's going to be a little bit later. And that'll be, if you want to stick around, I'll introduce you to some nice people. You'll see some very large people, right? You see some people that even you have not seen people like this. These are big, these are 6'7", 380 pounds with no fat. Okay, that's pretty good. But the team, the national championship team, is being honored today at the White House, so that'll be exciting. If you're around, you want to stay around, I'll have you up there. You can tell them all about your prison, how you have to behave. Okay.
Businesses want clarity. How
Who else?
temporary are those executives?
Go ahead, please.
You said yesterday that you're making a decision on Iran very quickly.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Is that a decision?
Well, they have to solve their problem very quickly. Iran wants
He wants
to deal
lower
with us,
rates
but they
and
don't know
higher
how.
tariffs.
They really don't know
Good
how.
luck.
We had a
So
meeting with
answer
them on
this
Saturday.
question. Why is that
We have
acceptable
another
for
meeting
everybody
scheduled
else
next
but
Saturday. I
us?
said, that's a long time. You know,
Because
that's
they
a long
all
time. So I think
responded
there might
back
be
by
time to
increasing tariffs, right? UK
right.
raised tariffs, EU
Iran
raised
has to
tariffs,
get rid of
China
the
raised
concept of a
tariffs,
nuclear weapon. They can't
right?
have a nuclear weapon. He can't have a
UK's
nuclear
cutting
weapon.
rates, EU's cutting rates,
we can't
everywhere
have
around the world
nuclear
is cutting rates, so why is everybody else allowed to do that?
weapons.
If
And I
that's
think
such
they
a big
happen so
deal,
long
and you
because
know
they-
so much about it.
We're so used
I'll
to
wait.
dealing with stupid people in
But yeah,
this country.
that's what's going on.
And I had Iran perfect. You had no attacks. You would have never had October 7th in Israel. The
I'm
attack
not
by
balancing.
Hamas.
They're actually pulling
Because
apart doing
Iran was
that.
broke. They were stone cold broke when I was president. And I
Tariffs
wanted
are
to- I wanted them to
inflationary.
be a
Nice.
rich,
You
great
read a lot
nation.
of economic books.
Only thing is,
But
one
you,
thing,
that's not what I
simple,
said. Like I
very
said on the
simple, they
other
can't have a
end,
nuclear weapon.
why?
And
Why is
they
it
gotta get
acceptable if
passed.
everybody else does the
Because
same
they're
exact
very
thing?
close to having
But they're actually doing it before
And
us.
they're not going to have
They
one.
have high tariffs, they're
And
raising
we have to
tariffs,
do
and they're
something
cutting
very
rates
harsh,
while
we'll
we're
do
not.
it. And I'm not doing it
But
for
the
us,
whole
I'm doing it
world
for the world.
financially is ignoring that. But then trying to add that pressure on Trump, it does not. It's very contradicting. Okay, calls are green now.
Just a follow-up question, a clarification. You mentioned that you're open to deporting individuals that aren't foreign aliens but are criminals to El Salvador. Does that include potentially U.S. citizens, fully naturalized immigrants?
If they're criminals and if they hit people with baseball bats over their head that happen to be 90 years old, and if they rape 87-year-old women in Coney Island, Brooklyn, yeah, that includes them. What, do you think there's a special category of person? They're as bad as anybody that comes in. We have bad ones too. And I'm all for it because we can do things with the president for less money and have great security. And we have a
That's
huge
really,
prison
bro.
population. We have a huge
So now you're
number of
back to
prisons,
this
and then we have the
price.
private
Calls are
prisons, and some
higher,
are
or at
operating
least
well, I guess, and
last
some
time
aren't.
we were here, they were break
But,
even. Now they're up 3 or 5.
He does a great job with it. We have others that we're negotiating with too. But no, if it's a homegrown
The market
criminal,
has spoken, not
I
just
have
you.
no
Nice. How
problem.
much
Now,
money did you make off of it?
We are studying the laws right now. Pam is studying. If we can do that, that's good. And I'm talking about violent people.
You were a
I'm talking
victim
about
to
really
it.
bad
I don't
people.
think it's you
really
spoke
bad
with
people.
it.
Every bit as bad as the ones coming in. And I made the statement when I heard about
I
this.
called all of this shit in November.
A long time
even
ago
for
now,
the
4
Europeans
years
and
ago.
all of it.
When I heard that this guy was having open borders, I said every single criminal from all over the world is going to be dumped into our country. And that's what happened. The jails of the Congo were emptied out. The jails of Venezuela were emptied out. And you know what happened? Their crime went way down. But now Venezuela has other problems. You know what the problem is? They have no money. Yeah. Because I shut off their oil, and we put secondary.
Damn, those intels
tariffs
came back
because
down. They're up 50, but
they're not doing what's right over there. They know what to do. We spoke to them. I spoke to them. They know what to do.
okay, calls
But they
came
have
back
no
down
money.
now.
Venezuela has no money.
So why? Something about
Iran
this
had no
range.
money. And Iran
They'll let them
became
like
so
go up and
beautiful.
down, but then that's it.
And then Biden took all
So those calls,
secondary
if we
tariffs
run,
and
those
tariffs
calls will rip. If not, if
told
you fall
China
from
you
here,
can't
they're going to
buy
die.
oil. If you buy oil from Iran, China, I told it to President Xi, then we no longer want you to do business with the United States of America. And those ships disappeared from the harbor so quickly. China. Get along great with China.
Are the talks with Iran productive? Do you want to continue that?
What?
The talks with Iran, do you believe those are productive? Do you want to continue that?
I think Iran could be a great country as long as it doesn't have nuclear weapons. If they have nuclear weapons, they'll never get a chance to be a great country. They will never get a chance. It won't even come close.
Sir, on tariffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yesterday you mentioned short-lived product exemptions. Which specific products are you
Good.
considering, and how long
Listen.
is short-lived? Weeks, months?
Here it is.
Something to help some of the car companies with it.
Car
They're
companies.
switching to
parts
that were made in Canada,
Boom.
Mexico, and other places.
Car
and they
company.
need a little bit of time because they're going to make them here. But they need a little bit of time. So I'm talking about things like that.
What about any Apple products, other cell phones?
Look, I'm a very flexible person. I don't change my mind, but I'm flexible.
Damn it.
And you have to be. You just
I
can't
whiffed.
have a wall and you'll only go. No, sometimes
I
you have to
whiffed.
go
I had
around
it.
Under it or above it. There'll be maybe
No,
things
I
coming
whiffed.
up. I speak to Tim Cook.
I
helped
whiffed
Tim
it.
Cook
GM though.
recently,
That's the
and
one.
That whole business. I don't want to hurt anybody. But the end result is we're going to get to the position
Oh
of
wait, they're not
greatness
even
for
letting
our
them
country.
go up.
We're the greatest economic
All right,
power
I got one somehow. What the
world.
fuck?
If we're smart.
Bro, I
If we're not
whiffed it
smart,
and it, these little fucking
we're gonna hurt our
scammers.
country
Hold
very
on.
badly. We lost with China over the Biden years trillions
Oh, they
of
let me
dollars
hit,
on
bro.
trade.
I can't believe that.
Trillions
That was
of
the stupidest thing ever.
And he
I
let
missed
them
it,
fleece us.
and then I was like, "Fuck it." I
And
did
we
a
can't do
smaller
that anymore.
market,
And you know what? I
and
don't
then it
blame
hit,
China at all.
and then
I
the
don't
play
blame
just went up
President
40.
Xi. I like him. He likes me. I mean, who knows? Who the hell cares?
Do you have any updates on
But
talks
you know
with
what?
China?
What?
Do you have any updates with talks with China?
No, let me just tell you this. I don't blame China. I don't blame Vietnam. I see their meeting today. Isn't that wonderful? That's a lovely meeting. They're meeting like trying to figure out how do we screw the United States of America. Don't forget, the European Union was formed to do just that. The European Union was formed to hurt the United States and on trade. And they get us on NATO because they don't pay their bills. But now, since I got involved, they have been paying their bills.
Okay, I made my GMs free, 100%.
600.
I whiffed that shit too.
$600 billion for NATO. Nobody took in anything. I mean, we were all delinquent. Most of the.
Oh, wait,
they
shit, I
had
need to
8
sell more.
nations out of 28 paid their bills. The rest of them were way delinquent. And I said, if you don't pay your bills, we're not
Hit
going to
her,
protect you
baby. Let's
anymore.
go.
And the
Nice,
money
beautiful.
poured in.
Way
All
over
of a sudden,
100%.
The Secretary
All
General
right,
last week made
that's
that
it. We got
statement.
free
He said,
ones.
"I never
That's
said
our
the
hit
market-
for
we
the
couldn't
day.
get anybody
We
to
needed
pay."
some fucking news, bro.
Because the United States
Yeah, no,
was
they
footing the
hit.
bill for NATO.
Believe me,
Well,
you should have made way more. I
we got
whiffed.
hurt there, and we
It
got
took
hurt
me an
on
extra
trade.
fucking 30
Likewise,
seconds.
European Union.
Bro, I fucked that play up. You guys had it while I was whiffing it. You should have got way better fills than I did, and I still came out 200%. So, yeah, watch out, but you got that there. That was a good call out. We were listening. Again, I was listening. I heard autos. We went straight to it. I fucking hit the wrong button, and then I just got lucky with the market order. But, yeah, those are killing it right now. That's really, really working. I might sell one more set, but that's our news now. Hold that other SPY call. Like I said, they're either going to run from there or not, and those plays went up 10. So keep riding. But now we got 2. We got hitters now.
We call them illegal.
We had to wait a
immigrants.
little bit. It was getting choppy.
But she made them.
Oh,
legal.
40!
But I said to her, and I get along with her very well. I said, how many Chevrolets do we have in Munich or Frankfurt? Why, none, Donald, none. I said, you're right. And yet we take in millions.
Okay, I sold half again at 40. I got 5 more remaining. I had to. That was great. I just got 200 bucks off of that, off those other 5s. I did not spend that much.
Thanks, guys. Let's move out. Thank you. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Thank you, press.
Thank you.
Thank you, press.
Thank you, press. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you. Let's go.
All right. Well, he reiterates the EU taking, let me see the headline there for it, but so pretty much he said, I did not want to hurt anybody. There will be maybe some things coming up. I spoke to Apple's cook, China-Vietnam meeting to figure out how to hurt the U.S. So he said that's the negative part. But yeah, those GMs, you got 200% on the bid. But then he brought up the autos, and that's what we got. Those calls came back down, though. So again, the other calls were up 10%. Sounded a little negative with the Vietnam thing, but other than that, though, I think you'll get a little window with cars, and then we wait for the next. I think your premiums will move a lot better once he actually hits us with a headline. But till then, once the headline's dry and it slows, then you go back to crawling. We got next week. Nice. I say I would make him free if you got him off the first ones. Would make him free. That was beautiful, though. All right, I already made it. I sold 3/4 of my GM. I only got a couple left for free now, though. It wasn't bad. When will he hit us with the headline? I have no idea. That's why we just kind of be ready for it. I think, honestly, even today, I've been looking at play. Man, even the SPY's coming back there. But I do think that I've been making plays because the market feels jumpy, but if there's no headline behind it, the plays don't hit. I don't know how to describe it. It's like, our news ones or when there's real follow through and activity, we're moving, but volatility was extreme 2 weeks ago, last week, and then now it's we're still near the low, but it's not moving as crazy. I would be careful. Yeah, he didn't really say anything good except for the cars. No, the chip news, he just said he didn't want to hurt anybody, said he's going to be speaking with Apple, but then said he didn't want to hurt the car companies. That's why I went straight there, but they were the only one who really got something. The market went with it, but then it faded, but now the auto ones are still up. But we still are. He's going to make there's another announcement in play for chips today, and then we're going to hear about the materials and all that. Okay, those SPY plays are just going back and forth, but there's a weird floor that's holding, but I'm being mindful because I feel like one of these moves is going to be a premium crusher, but they already found a way to, so far, both sides out of the money have declined. HCM, what is this? Hutchmed China? HCM. I mean, out the money with time, just be careful because if you could pay a lot for the time, but it could still be the same result. But near the monies are working today, but out the money has been challenging. And just the last 48 hours have been a lot slower. GM again. So, damn, those plays are 300% now. Ugh, that hit really good. I'm mad, bro. My whiff. Oh, I had it too. But SPY's coming back down, so only people that benefit off of that little Trump comment was Ford and GM. Another great week. Let's go. What was it? Big Mojito? You did near the money Amazon getting cooked. Yeah. That's what sucks. Even on the SPY, if you go out the money and you're right on the move, you're not going to get paid that much. But then if you go near the money, you'll get paid. But then if you're wrong, you have to pay a lot. That's kind of the risk to reward. So that's why I think it's easier to take that risk when we have a catalyst, when we have something moving us. But when it's just kind of in the middle, then it's going to be a toss-up. Actually, yeah, you're already coming back down. Okay, I'm selling out those calls at break even. They're not going to move. That's it. I bought them ticked it. I got them over here, and then on the way up, they didn't go up. Then it dropped, and they didn't go down. And then I was up 10% now. Then I went break even, and now I'm back to break even again. So I'm out of that one. TEM. All right. I'm only going to play it once we get a headline now. That's it. I think I have some good ideas. I have some prices I'm watching, but even after watching that GM, those ones we could hit easy. I think we got to wait for either material news or the news on one of the chip stuff and whatever he said over the weekend. 30-second summary. Autos. He just said autos. That's it. That was the 30-second summary. The only thing he said had to do with GM, and we're waiting still for more. He is going to be talking again. He should be. Now, again, that Nayib Bukele one was kind of random, but he was expected to talk and make a chip announcement today, as well as an announcement on materials or deep sea mining, something like that. Again, those plays, I just sold out for break even. I don't think they're bad. I really like the play, actually. But I just know that it's either going to do nothing or it's going to hit. But you might have to wait 7 hours for that. And then the next pullback up and down, they're just going to keep washing it. But I want a headline. And then bonds did come back down. Notice that too. The reaction during all of that was a little weird. Apple might have good news, or it was already up 7. They've given up 5 of that. So if it turns out bad, or not as good, maybe they could sell some more. But it's already sold off a little bit of that hype. But in the morning, people were viewing it as a win. That's what's crazy, bro. We're getting at, imagine you don't watch Apple gap up 7% usually, and then it usually doesn't sell off 5% of that during the day. But that's what we've been getting. I don't do any technical analysis, no. I use basic support and resistance, but everything you see is just a weird mix of everything. OVM HCO, we did not see major changes in trends when asked on the effects of Trump's tariff announcements. Interesting. How do you reply to comments? Just answer them. That's it. If it's about stocks, I answer it. If it's not about stocks, just ignore it. That's kind of been the vibe. So it goes well. Oh, you meant adding people? Yeah, then that's... I was going to say that was an interesting question. But yeah. Good. I don't think the tariff exemption meant anything for Tesla, because I think the report last week was that I don't think they were benefiting off of any of it as much. But yeah, that was the only auto company that didn't move. That's either a fluke or it's rightfully so. Ford is still climbing. Yeah, I keep seeing that one. CNBC pumping them. Well, GM did good. It's up. It's like 200% or 150 now. 170. Those Intels. I see Chamath. No, I don't like Chamath. He's a weird guy. HII. That one was crazy. That one like hit, but then the premiums moved more than anything today. So we'll see. But follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. I will BRB. And yeah, I'll see you in a little bit.
As he's trying to boost the U.S.'s economic standing. One final point, he was also talking a little bit about the European Union, and as there are negotiations ongoing during this 90-day pause to see if they can avoid further tariffs, the president saying now the European Union has got to come to the table, and they're trying to, but that they're taking terrible advantage of the U.S. I flagged that comment as the EU Trade Commissioner, Scott, is in Washington right now to continue these sorts of trade negotiations, potentially more news to come out of that meeting later today. Scott.
Okay, we appreciate very much the update there. Megan Casella, the White House, for us. So we showed you Apple intraday. It's pretty much at the lows of the session, though still up by 2%. The obvious bumps that you would get in Ford and General Motors. Sarat, you no longer own GM.
No.
You know, Jim Lebenthal sold it on the very first whisper of tariffs a few months ago. Remind us when you got out, and was it in anticipation of tariffs?
No, I got out about 6 months ago, and it was in the low 50s. And really, at that point, it had done everything we wanted to do. And then we were looking at this year to say, hey, you got a new administration. What's going to happen? You're kind of at peak auto sales and peak competition. So it was just kind of one of those things we said, hey, we can move the money elsewhere.
Okay. We'll obviously watch all of those stocks that are moving on what Megan Casella was reporting from the North Lawn of the White House. We will get the headlines now, though, from Silvana Hanau. Hi, Silvana.
Hey, Scott. Good afternoon. A congressional watchdog will look into changes made at the SEC, including any led by the White House or Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. Reuters reporting in a letter sent to Senators Elizabeth Warren and Mark Warner, the Government Accountability Office, which is the nonpartisan research arm of Congress, wrote that in the next 3 months, it will look into the agency's recent efforts to cut staff and leases and reorganize its workforce. Saudi Arabia is reportedly planning to pay off Syria's debts to the World Bank. Now, that's according to Reuters, which says the plans could open up grants for Syria's reconstruction. But U.S. sanctions that remain imposed on Syria may complicate its financial recovery. And in Turkey, a new phase of restorations is underway for the nearly 1,500-year-old Hagia Sophia to protect it from earthquakes due to its close proximity to fault lines. The project will focus on reinforcing the mosque's historic domes, the most significant work on the monument in over 150 years, Scott.
Silvana, thank you. Silvana Hanau. Coming up, the tariff turbulence is driving investors into one part of the ETF market to manage this volatility. Bob Pisani knows where it is. He'll tell you next in ETF Edge.
ETF Edge. Welcome, Shard. Can you ask how much I make off YouTube ads? No, you cannot. I make a lot now. But do me a favor, Soccer, because you've been really nice and locked in the past. Today, a lot of your comments have not been on topic. They've just been odd. So if you could focus a little bit more, I don't want to ban you. So, yeah, stop asking me shit like that. Thank you. So, yeah, that's just me asking you nicely without any punishment. So I don't know if you guys like that, but, yeah, that'd be nice if you could bring it back in, reel it in. Come on. There you go. Is Ford still going? All the autos in my E-Trade just went down. SPY went up, but that one out of the monies, they won't go up past 10%. I'm still looking at them. Yeah, my E-Trade just went down. I don't know why. Come on, yalla, habibi. Yeah. My high ticker is kind of working, but my E-Trade did go down. SPY dailies, 542. Good luck, baby. Good luck. I like the move. There's some good SPY calls out there, but I don't like too far out. So that one's a little closer. It's a little better. But good luck on the day. The GMs are up a lot. They're up around 200-300%, depending on bid and ask. You got the best job of my life. Let's go, baby. Let's go. You got a job at Supreme in Miami. Oh, wow. That must be fun. Miami. I'll come visit you one of these days. I don't like them because of just the day. We're moving too slow. So the out the monies are like, if we actually had volatility in like range like we had the last couple of days, those plays look good. But if we're going to move hella like 0.5%, no, it's impossible for those to hit. So that's kind of the whole thing. Is just like we went from really, really fast to really, really slow. And now if you're playing fast on a slow day, no, it's not going to work. And then vice versa. So you just got to make sure, like right now, I think we need to adjust to what the speed is. And the speed is near the money or just don't do anything. Again, like right when a news play hits, boom, instantly we snaked a couple 100%. There was a couple of decent moves. I mean, I was able to get a couple little ones, but not anything major. Thoughts on a separate long term where all your monthly subs go? No. I don't. Why? I don't have to do anything. That's it. I made you guys a long term. I only started charging and doing shit because people weren't locking in and were being extremely rude. So I don't have anything to you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm going to go buy me a new car, a new house, or maybe give away the money, but it's up to my full discretion. I'm not putting any of that towards there. So like I said, I don't know why you guys want to have these conversations, but let's talk about the stock market. Yeah, we have gotten rid of the free rider problem. That's about it. But other than that, that's all. And too, remember any bans too, because like even then some of it, just in general, you will get hopefully unbanned by the quarter. And if you think that I am closed-minded in any way, shape, or form, good. Because I have standards. But the goal I'm looking at right now, I'm not taking any bans personally. Neither should you. And the way I look at it is that if we really disagree with each other, why not I ban you? We don't talk, and then we come together at the end of the year and see who did better. That's how I'm looking at it. So if you do end up getting banned, don't take it personally. You'll get unbanned, and then if you have strong opinions on what's going to happen, let's just compare results by the end of the year. And that's it. Ford falling off. The GM premiums are still up, but they're coming down a little. Just a wide spread. It's 100% on the spread. I would position or plan for positioning a little bit on earnings. The problem is going to be that volatility if the weather allows it. So that's going to be the next thing because, like, if volatility is low this week, earnings will be great. If the stocks don't move a lot ahead of it, awesome. But if the volatility is high and, like, the premium's even higher, then the stock moves a lot, then still prices in a lot, it's going to be tough. Earnings is after hours? Yeah, at all earnings you have to wait. So if you never played any of the earnings strategies, check out the video on the main channel. Ghetto standard deviation. But yeah, all earnings plays, that's why they're risky with options. You can't react till the next morning. You didn't post the call. You posted a strike, but you didn't post the ticker. But good work. You like half posted it. The intention was there. You just said 135 call. But good. That's why I think individual names have done a little bit better. I think because the individual stocks, except for Apple, because they flipped, but those have been decent. Well, all the material plays, TMC, MP, that's just the speculation. So if Trump does announce something, they'll go higher, but they're already up. It's kind of the dilemma. And then SPY, dude, that call is cheaper now. So literally, I sold out of that call the same price here as it is here. So even though you bounced and it went up, the calls declined. That's what I'm saying. It's too out of the money. That's why. Tariffs and Disney because they got clapped on Thursday. Remember, China said they're going to stop importing movies. So literally, Disney does get affected, as weird as that may sound. The anticipated announcement, it's the deep sea metal and mining. That was from 3 hours ago. So if you're not aware of that, don't play any of those plays. Do you understand? So if you're not aware of the news on any of those, all those plays have moved a lot now. So make sure you don't let your lack of preparation end up costing you money because they're already ran. You don't want to import any recent Disney movies? Dude, I'm not going to lie. I want to watch Snow White. It sounds so bad, I want to watch it. I want to see what it's like. Snow loss. No, but I want to, see it. I want to witness it first. Because then again, y'all did this to me on fucking Space Jam. And you guys were like, Space Jam's awful. And then I watched Space Jam. I was like, it wasn't that bad. Why suffer through that? I don't know. We'll see. I have dated a crazy girl, but can I please, you guys, can I remind you all, can we keep it on stocks? Because a lot of you have had the weirdest fucking questions on a Monday and the weirdest topics to discuss. So I know it's a boring day for now, but, let's try to keep it on topic, okay? Are you guys with me on that? Are you guys with me? Because, yeah, I've been nice. I've only banned the weird, Trump haters. That's all I've banned today. And why I've banned them? Because, quite frankly, it's not worth the energy for any of us anymore. And we're better off comparing our results. So a lot of you guys, you think you know what's happening, and maybe you do. So the best way is that we disagree today, and then we compare at the end. So, but other than that, I have tried to not ban you guys today, and I'm encouraging you to keep it on stocks, my friends. Woo! So, yeah. The fireworks in Minecraft, I haven't. I've seen people go crazy, but even my nephew, he watched it, and he was like, he said the people in the movies were going crazy when the guy came out or something like that. That's what he told me that yesterday. Not selling off or ripping for 3% is considered boring. It is. It is. After the last historic 3 weeks, fuck yeah, this is very boring comparatively. But that's good, though. What I mean, you guys got to realize we have to adjust. That's what I'm figuring out right now. Because the days, remember, Friday, we walked away winning somehow, but it was bumpy. But even today, hit a couple. I'm already seeing, I haven't taken any, crazy loss, a 10%er. But it's just I already could tell. We just need to stop. That's it. When it's fast, we go with it if we could pick up on it. But just make sure you're not playing fast strategies when the market's not moving fast. Just like we talked about the other day, PNC's been killing it, and then he donates, and he's like, I realize I'm not a bad trader. I just needed volatility. And I was telling him, I was like, yeah, that's exactly it for a lot of people. But just make sure you notice that when the market slows down, we got to slow down with it too, because if not, you're going to get trapped and lose money. So that's what I'm feeling. I think it's today's going to be a slower one until the headlines hit. And if the headlines hit and we pick up, let's go. Let's start running with it. But until then, I don't think there's any follow through. I got the plays. That's why I noticed those plays I called out. They're holding the values. They'll hold the price, but they're not like moving, and they're not giving us the, again, you could bottom tick. Remember that other day, you were bottom ticked off the morning. You barely made money. So you need the real momentum. We need that speed. We need that headline. Otherwise, we got to adjust to it. And right now, I don't think there's a, right now with the premiums, I think we just got to either slow down, go individuals or near the money, or do absolutely nothing. And I think that'll be a little bit more beneficial. So I say don't make any trades. That's actually going to be it. Right now, because I was tempted. I made a couple trades today. So some were hitters. I took profits. One was a loss off the bell. Then we had a nice 100% flip. Then I grabbed one. They're break even. Then I got another one. They're up 20%. All the individuals are up. I sold the SPY for a loss. Then I got one for break even. Then we got 300% on GM. And then that's it. But yeah, I just stopped trading the SPY once I noticed what was going to happen. But individual names hit. So I wouldn't really trade more expirations. Just if you're going to trade this SPY, wait till we get like fireworks is the better way to put it. Otherwise, they're just going to scam you. And then individual names just go off of whatever's driving them if you have a catalyst. If not, then you should start positioning for the other data this week. And if you think things will end at a certain price and the break-even's not bad today, then you could throw those on. Market is closed on Friday. Yes, for Jesus. Good Friday. Like literally, Jesus. Like, Easter. Boo! There's just these like Trump things we're supposed to hear Trump in the chips today, and then the deep sea mining, but then again, some of that could happen after the bell. Diamond in the rough, all of them. Pfizer, UPS, NVO, Nike. I really want to buy right now. You have no idea, guys. It sucks because, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, we need our diamond, and I still am very low on cash. But like I said, I was considering Pfizer this morning. Last night, I was thinking about it. Not all my money, but like 1 out of the 3 deposits I've held, maybe a little Pfizer just because it's cheap and then it pays more than cash. But then again, I have low cash. So if I just hold, I mean, nothing should cost me too much. And then again, we're still leading. We're winning on the year, and I don't want to expose a lot, and I don't want to give up too much while we're still trying to figure things out. Like I'm saying, I mean, although, and hear me out, because there's a lot of people that are jumping to conclusions, and even the people that try to argue with me without listening, I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm, the people, when I look at them and I'm like, how do you know what's going to happen? How are you so confident? That's amazing. I'm not saying I know what's going to happen. So that caution, it's really early right now. You know what I'm saying? And I do think by June, July, I'll know what's going to happen. I'll have a way better idea. June, July, we'll know, end of the year is going to be much lower or much higher. You know what I'm saying? So, but when it's all said and done, we are just kind of, I think you diversify a little bit, play both sides, but you don't really fully have the answer. And that's why I'm saying I don't want to go too quickly. Thanks for telling you to wait on NVIDIA. You added 200 shares at 87. Good. You are, for every one of you that listened, there was 4 of you that bought at 120 and then sent me a screenshot. I don't know why. It was a weird time, bro. So that's what you guys got to realize, that like as I'm live, depending on where your mindset is at, some of you are going to get hyper fixated on what I'm saying and take it personally. And that's not my goal nor intention. I hope you realize that, because that's what I was saying at one point at the beginning of this year and end of last year. I was banning people because they were insisting on buying the stocks that I own at a higher price. And it was just like they were trolling and getting weird about it. And like I would tell every single name, you guys would have saved a shit ton of money. But then like it was saying, they were like, should I buy NVIDIA? And I was like, listen, I'm not in the market of buying these names this high. I bought Meta in front of everybody at YouTube at $90. Netflix, 180. JP Morgan, 116. Abivai at 80. Uber at 24. We could keep, and again, I bought Snapchat at $9 too. I know it's down. So I'll throw in a bad one there too. You could throw in a big commerce if you like. But at the end of the day, I'm not buying these expensive ass stocks. But when I was telling people this after NVIDIA's like DeepSeek, they took it as like I was talking shit to them. So I'm not going to call them out. I'm not going to put them on blast, but I guarantee you if I go through my email right now and just type in NVIDIA, I have 5 screenshots of people buying at like 140 to 120, anywhere from 20 grand to, I saw someone even sent me $250,000 of them buying $250,000 of NVIDIA at 140 to 120, trying to like flex on, I don't know what it was, because I wasn't necessarily disagreeing with anybody. I was just telling you guys I'm a cheap bastard and I don't buy this. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, long story short though, anything you waited on, you made money. But here's the deal. At one point, we may look back and everything we waited on, we will never be able to get it this cheap. And that's why I'm saying I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just using my rules, and I'm using a very, very gradual 10-year plan to put me in a good position. Do you guys understand that? That's why I'm saying I'm tempted to buy right now, but either way, my portfolio says I don't have enough cash either way. So the point is, I don't know where we're going to end up. Maybe this will be our last time at getting these cheap prices. Maybe we'll get them a lot lower. I do think by June, July, we'll have a way clearer idea. But when it's all said and done, I mean, we're still we were overweight equities. We need to build up cash. There's a lot of good deals right now, but maybe there'll be better deals. And then there's still some names that haven't gotten cheaper. You know, I'll tell you this. One name that I really want is Ulta. But guess what? Ulta didn't get that much cheaper. So look, this whole decline this year, we could have snagged Ulta at the lows last year. So it's not like some names didn't get much cheaper. Tech is lagged. The big value ones that didn't do good, like Pfizer, UPS, they got 10% cheaper. I like Lulu. Lulu's not bad. I view Lulu like Nike. So that's it. I think Nike is like Lulu. Generally, they're about the same. Like fundamentally, they have similar price to earnings, similar like forward multiples that you're paying. I do think Lulu's a little better fundamentally in terms of like their growth, but then Nike is better in terms of like moat. And I know that may sound wild. You're like, what moat does Nike have? Nike has $8 billion of inventory, and everybody and their mother knows what they are, and all of us will buy Nike on sale. Make no, like, seriously. Yes or no? And I don't know. I'll buy Lululemon on sale except for a tank top. But did I tell you that story? Never again. I still have that tank top. I look at it and I vomit. But essentially, yeah, Nike, I think that inventory and just the brand value. You bought Nike or Lulu? Lulu has outlet shit. If you buy Lulu from the outlet, it's cheap. Just like I'm telling you, like hypothetically men, if you've never tried on some of the athletic wear, I would try it on before buying it. That was my mistake. Because I was at a Lululemon outlet, and they had this like $20, $10 tank top. And I was like, fire, I love tank tops. I work out a lot, right? Bro, I put on this tank top. I swear to God, it fit me like a sports bra. I can't even know. I can't even explain it to you, bro. I wore it in that video to show you, bro. It fit me like a sports bra. Like, it didn't even, like, it wasn't, like, too small. It was just, like, the cuts and, like, all of it, bro. Like, I just felt like I just couldn't do it. Nah, bro. Even if I sized up, it wasn't, like, it was just weird, bro. I just couldn't do it. And I was like, I hate it. It was my worst tank top ever. I hate that tank top. It was weird, bro. So, yeah, but I can't do Lululemon tanks. Nike tanks till I die, bro. And Colt tanks. Colt and Nike tanks, those are my best tank tops. That's it. You saw the Chinese TikToks that showed the look. I saw that too. You guys kept tagging me in it, but I was kind of disappointed in some of y'all because that video was going around this weekend. And they're like, look, China makes all of these goods for really cheap. And Americans overpay for extremely cheap manufactured Chinese goods. China's been making everything. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I knew this since I was like 12. So, but yeah, like everybody is I don't know. It's like a wave and they're like, oh my gosh, there's factories in China that make shit for really cheap. And I'm like, yeah, I know. That's been like, that's macroeconomics 101 practically. Those GMs, bro, are still killing it. On the platinum supply deficit, no. People have asked me about platinum, but I don't really know. But I know it's the demand and use for platinum has shifted a lot. But I have not heard much about that. I'm interested in hearing more though. But I haven't heard anything so far about China and platinum. But I could kind of see that developing. We've had a talk on this a couple months ago. I remember we were talking about platinum and use cases. You guys remember? Because I know that shifted a lot, but that's an interesting take. Somebody brought up something else good today to think about, which I liked. Okay, Spy Pop. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yo, something's happening, bro. Hold on. They just jacked up all the premiums. Bro, even that call I want, Fed Waller, new tariff, one of the biggest shocks. Higher inflation from tariffs will be temporary. Yeah, bro, something just snapped. They jacked up the premiums. If that holds, we're good. It's Fed Waller comments. If current 25% average stays the same, inflation could peak near 5%. Fed Waller, large tariff, significant slowdown. I'd favor cutting rates sooner than more under 10. Yeah, it's Fed Waller. I don't know if this is going to last. They already scammed the contracts. Be careful. Now you buy. If you think this is going to run, you buy right now. That's it. They just took those from, what's it called? They just took those from like, they just grabbed them up like 30% and then they came back down. It's Fed Waller comments though. I think that was a scam. Yeah, Fed Waller. I don't see anything else. But see, you act now if you want them. The premiums are still moving. Be on the lookout, though. There might be other headlines. Because that's weird to move like that off of Fed Waller, but it's still kind of hurt. It's kind of moving, yeah. And the currencies, too. Very weird. All right, see if that holds. That's really weird. I'm just saying, watch out. I'm putting on the stream alert how weird that was. I'm just saying, you got a headline pop. I typed out what Waller said, but I'm just like, it's weird that we're moving off of that. I can't remember the last time that we, I can't remember the last time a Fed comment really moved us. Yeah, the premiums are not too bad. That if you bought them on the first one, but if you waited till right here, the premiums aren't that bad, surprisingly. But that was just weird. Yeah, Fed Waller Q1 economy was growing modestly, labor solid. Yeah, again, he said more rate cuts. He said a lot of things, to be honest. Just, again, very weird. Oh, no. He is saying what I have said. He gave scenarios. He pretty much was saying 10%, we do this. Well, again, return to a moderate level in 26. It's just weird that we reacted. That's what I'm saying. That pop, I noticed the premiums. So believe it or not, that move, what caught my attention, that SPY call I told you guys to watch, that started to go up. They did. They swung really big on that. But yeah, that's just weird that you moved on Waller comments. Again, you guys know we have Jerome Powell on Wednesday. I hope you guys are aware of that. Bro, and these premiums are wicked. So again, the premiums, I'm just noting, watch the spreads, because what caught my attention on this play, it was that contract I told you to watch. They jacked up the spread by 10 cents. That's why I was like, well, that shouldn't be moving. But see, I mean, we've literally gone through European close, and you have chilled at this level pretty much all day, bro, and we haven't broken above it. Oh, shit, it's already 10! Habibi! Wow. All right. Well, Chattadonia, game time. Yes, are. So, I told you, I didn't ask you guys to buy a membership today. I was just really grateful. And like I said, man, I hope you guys realize I am grateful for all of you, man. And being here, though, I hope you make the most out of every opportunity, okay? And I say that because you guys have already supported in so many ways, and just, I don't know, man, don't forget, before any of these, like, recent changes, just, like, I don't know if you guys could comprehend it, but I did 60 months a different way. You know what I'm saying? 60 months every day, waking up at 5 a.m., being live, and that's why I'm saying some of you did it with me. Some of you did not, and that's okay, but yeah, just don't ever forget that. You know what I'm saying, man? Just don't ever forget that, bro. Don't ever forget that. But that being said, you will need a membership, okay? So we're going to go to Philo, and then I'll be back. Because like I said, I mean, Philo started going members only based on some of the reactions all around. So I don't want to disturb you with what I got to talk about, but I got to talk about it. So we'll see you there. You will need a membership. If not, no worries. I'll see you guys around Power Hour. And I wish you the best of luck, and God bless America. Amen? Amen. Amen. That Friday, bro, I was looking back at the Friday game. You guys are insane. You know that? And I even watched the clip, bro. We should watch it over. Your guys' facial reactions. You guys, like, knew what was going on, but you didn't. I think you guys even thought about it over the weekend, because if you didn't watch the recap of the game on Friday, just go look at their faces. It was, oh, dude, it was amazing. It was amazing. But either way. And I got some good ideas too, baby. Shout out Brett, baby. But make the move on over. I will see you guys over. God bless America. And shout out to Chad, baby. Shout out to Chad. Peace.